Hello and welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily. I know, so curious. We got a lot for you guys today, as we do pretty much every day. No surprise there. But hey, we're gonna be talking about the Harry Potter trailer. I'm actually also excited to talk about this trailer for this relatively obscure Hong Kong action film called The Furious. But of course, we're gonna be reviewing the first episode of Daredevil Born Again season 2, and Lizz is here to do that. Of course, John has a thing or two to say about the new Stephen Colbert written Lord of the Rings movie that is meant to be a sequel to the original trilogy. We're talking about Lord of the Rings, not Star Wars, so you know, in case the vocabulary is kind of crossing streams. But yeah, and of course the curious case of Casey Bloys and HBO. We'll dive into that. He was recently seen out at lunch in a very public restaurant around town in Hollywood with Ted Sarandos. What does that mean for his future with Warner Brothers and Paramount going forward? So we'll get into all of that, of course, and we got DC news. You know, Superman, Spider-Man, the crossover comic is out now, and today is the 10-year anniversary of Sucker Punch, but also more importantly, Batman v Superman. So of course we're gonna have a little bit of a Zack Snyder presence, and then James Gunn was online for a brief moment in between preparations for Man of Tomorrow, so we'll get into that. And of course we have your comments, questions that we will bring into the show as we go on. So with that, let's get to our favorite part of the show, which is the intro. Project Hail Mary is a whole lot of fun. Did you go see it? Because I sure as hell did, twice. And here's to you, Ryan.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chords.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the world needs now.
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right, okay. It's time for the show. I am your host, Daniel, if you didn't already know. But hey, we've got a ton to get into today. We already got folks in the live chat. If you're watching after we're live, we still appreciate you very much. But I'm not here by myself today. Of course, with me today, I've also got Lizz returning to the show after a brief hiatus. How are you doing today, Lizz?
I'm good. It's going to be another brief hiatus coming up. Sorry, gang, but I'm finally going to France, and you're just going to have to miss me. But hey, everybody. Hope everyone's having a great night. Woohoo!
Au revoir, as they would say. But anyway, or bon chance? Bon chance, anyway. John, how are you doing today?
I have
Ooh.
a cookie.
Sure do.
It's a Jersey Mike's cookie. I
Nice.
got it a couple of days ago. I usually get a 3-pack because their cookies, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not a really good homemade cookie, but it's one of those like very artificial cookies that like are crack and you can eat like 10,000 of them in one sitting. So, good stuff.
Okay. All right. Now we move on from the cookie story to saying hello to the folks in the chat. We got Tony. Rest in peace to Chip Taylor, Tony says. Yes. He was the brother of John Voight and, of course, the uncle to Angelina Jolie. He passed away a couple of days ago. Caleb, Honka Honka, indeed. Yes, we do live in a timeline where Stephen Colbert will be writing, of course, a Lord of the Rings movie.
The worst timeline.
Yeah. Oh, is it? I don't know. C'est génial d'aller en France. I have no idea what half of that meant, even though I should, because I studied French for like 10 years. But thank you, Tony. You are from Canada, of course, Nova Scotia. One of my Fiona is actually in Toronto right now, and her best friend and her have the booths next to each other at one of the art fairs there, the Artist Project, if you happen to drop by. It's the Enercare Center, and her best friend lives in Nova Scotia. So anyway, Cookie Monster. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Okay. You know what? I have to try those AMC cookies, Liz. I haven't done that yet.
There we go.
They're good.
I tried everything but the cookies the other day when I went to see Project Hail Mary. I literally had like a pile of food like walking into the theater, and then I'm just like ripping boxes open and eating shit like for half the movie.
I'm going to raise my hand because I don't have earphones, so I don't want to talk over everybody, but I'm going to raise my hand to talk. You guys, the one thing you guys don't know about Dan is the snackiest snack monster that has ever lived. He always has snacks at the ready. His car is full of snacks. His suitcase is full of snacks. He cannot stop anywhere without purchasing snacks. Dan, I mean, it's John. You think you're something? Dan is a.
I can't eat as much nowadays because I'm like trying to, I have little cheats like the cookie and all that. But I'm trying to like eat better. So like, although I will say the other day I had a couple hot dogs at AMC, and when I got home, my bathroom was not pretty. So it's like, oh,
TMI.
don't do
TMI.
that, folks.
I get the Impossible Nuggets at AMC. They're very good. Their pizzas have fallen off for me. They got new pizza. It's not good, and they don't cook it for long enough. I yell at them all the time about that. But it's a corporate thing.
I will say their mozzarella sticks are surprisingly really good. The chicken tenders are okay, but it feels like you're eating like a mouthful of breading instead of actual chicken, which is the case for like really cheap chicken tenders. I wish they had nuggets. Like, I'm not eating Impossible.
No, get the Impossible Nuggets.
I don't want to get the Impossible Nuggets. I ain't.
They're good. They're good.
Nice.
They're good.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
let's switch. Let's talk about we're here to talk about the movies. Of course, let's talk about the movies themselves because I know we have fun going to the movies. But as far as the box office goes, this weekend coming up now, we're on Wednesday, so the weekend box office they usually start measuring from Thursday onward. It's right on the horizon, and with that, Project Hail Mary, which we have been glazing all week, and even last week when we did our big review for it. Liz, I would love to hear from you in a moment if you have had a chance to see it, what you think about it. But before that, I wanted to point out Project Hail Mary, as of today, Wednesday, March the 25th, has passed $100 million in the U.S. market, the domestic market, and it is set as per deadline to lord over the box office in its second weekend with another $45 million domestically, which would be a 44% decline from its opening weekend of 80 plus million. Not bad at all. Anything below 50 million for a movie that opens that big is pretty good. Its biggest competition is that if you what's the could you go back to the title?
They Will Kill You.
They Will Kill You. Why am I forgetting her name?
Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz. Of course, it's like a really kooky horror, fun action movie, but it's not going to be able to take over.
Buddy of mine saw it. It was the mystery
spot.
movie for Regal and AMC this past Monday. He said it was okay. He's like, it's a wait for streaming kind of movie.
Yeah. Yep. And well, what do you guys think? I mean, we know Super Mario Brothers Galaxy comes out in a couple of weeks. That not this week, but the following next week is going to take over the box office. But until then, it looks like Project Hail Mary is set to continue its streak at the top. And we already mentioned this earlier in the week. It looks like Project Hail Mary is well on its way to becoming that very first blockbuster hit for Amazon MGM. But Liz, since you haven't really been part of those conversations, I guess I want to turn it to you. What do you think about how it's doing at the box office, Project Hail Mary? And if you had a chance to see it, which I don't think we really have talked about this, what do you think about the film? Or if you haven't, then how excited are you to go see it sometime soon, hopefully?
No, I have seen it. It is an absolutely perfect film. 10 out of 10. It leaves no crumbs, no cap on that. That film is a perfect movie. I'm hoping to see it again this week. I did also see Ready or Not 2 and The Vampires of the Velvet Lounge, because why not? But Project Hail Mary, holy smokes, gang. I'm so thankful that I got to see it. I saw it in Dolby. I refuse to see it anywhere else. Not even in IMAX, because my theater, it's not a true IMAX. So yeah, can't wait to see it again. All three of my nephews saw it. They kept seeing the trailers, were really, really interested. So their mom played them the audiobook, And then all three of them went to see it, and they age from 6 to 12, and all three of them sobbed uncontrollably in certain parts throughout the film. So I mean, for it to hit literally every generation, every age group, I can't say enough amazing things about that movie. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it again for sure.
Yeah, I think all of us are in the same boat. Pretty much everybody has gone to see it. I mean, everybody's talking glowing terms about Project Hail Mary, which makes, I think is one of 15 Amazon MGM movies that are set to be theatrically released this year. They haven't released as many movies in the past, but they made a big commitment a couple of years ago. I think it was last year, actually, at CinemaCon, that they're going to become a proper theatrical distributor, and they're sticking to it so far. So yeah, but anyway, John, what do you think? I mean, looking at these numbers, anything unexpected stands out at you? And of course, you probably know a lot more about They Will Kill You than I do. So, like, what can you say about that movie and its attempt to
Andy Muschietti's
try to slay
grandiose return to horror after the movie that shall not be named. So it's, I mean, it looks like a fun time. I mean, I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, this actually looks really good. But if it's a case of like, just wait till streaming, I'll probably just do exactly that. And probably just go see Project Hail Mary again. But I will say, yeah, it looks like a fun time, but it's like, yeah, it's a little rinky-dink kind of horror comedy action movie. So it's like, all right, that's obviously not going to take over Project Hail Mary. But when Super Mario Galaxy comes out next week, that's 110% going to just wreck Project Hail Mary, which isn't a bad thing because the movie looks good and I really like the first one. It's just like, one, it's newer, and two, it's more, you know, it has an all ages demographic more so than Project Hail Mary. So there's that as well. So yeah, that's gonna wreck it, but Project Hail Mary will still be number 2 and it'll still make money. So, you know, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, there's still quite a bit of leeway there for it to do well because, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too many other movies that will take that, you know, well, certainly, you know, not kick Project Hail Mary out of the top 5 for a while to come. So yeah, I think we're all speaking very highly of it. It's rare to see a movie that is doing so well, like both the audience and the critic scores in the 90s. It's become like a cultural phenomenon for a movie. Again, I don't know, Liz, if you can speak to this, but like you said, you went to see it with your family. John went to see, I think, by himself. Correct me if I'm wrong, John. I went to see it myself the first time, and then when I went to see it with Fiona cried watching it too. And I was like, you know, there'll be tears of joy.
With my dad, yeah.
So yeah, but like Liz, you went to see it with, you know, not just adults and stuff. Like, is this becoming more of a cultural phenomenon that maybe even, you know, Amazon MGM expected it to? Because clearly, like, the Rocky character, as well as the chemistry, and then of course Ryan Gosling's, you know, Ryland Grace character is just, I think, the soul of the film. Like, what's been the effect for you, and like, why is it being so successful?
I didn't see it with my family. They told me about it. We actually did like watch it at the same time in different states. But like I said, the trailer was really interesting for them. They, you know, again, they're, you know, like I said, they're young boys. They're all under the age of 13. They were really pumped for the latest Jurassic World film that came out. So these kinds of movies just really kind of, you know, hit something with them. And like I said, after seeing the trailer over and over again, their mom was a big fan of the books that the author had written. So she was like, you know, I think all 3 of them can go. I think it's age appropriate. It doesn't seem like there's going to be anything overtly sexual or gory or graphic or anything of that nature. So they, like I said, they listened to the audiobook first, just to kind of gauge how the boys would react. And they were all super into it. So went and saw the film. They're a big movie family. They try to see films pretty regularly. So to be able to see kind of like this big adult blockbuster, I think was a real treat for them. It's not the usual Pixar or, you know, kind of family action films that you would expect for them to see, but they absolutely loved it. They adored that film. So I'm really glad they got to have that experience.
Yeah. I mean, the conversation around this movie just, to me, is just the most wholesome thing. I think it's the perfect movie for what people need right now. I mean, and it's also a great example of why we love movies, you know, why movies exist. It's for us to kind of have this outlet, but also just be able to, you know, have an uplifting experience, and it lets us get away from the grind of the daily life that we all have. So with that, you guys let us know what you thought, what you're thinking about, you know, the upcoming weekend. Are you going to go check out Project Hail Mary again? It is looking like it's going to top the box office for a second weekend in a row before Super Mario Bros. You know, come and kick it out of the top spot next weekend. Until then, all I can say is this movie was... Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we're going to move forward and we're going to get into some other talk specifically. It's time for MCU Weekly. And, well, MCU Weekly is today going to be heavily focused on Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 1, The Northern Star, and much anticipated. And now that it's finally out, Liz, you saw this, I think, earlier today, so it's very fresh in your mind. So I'll kind of like, you know, lay it off to you, and you can let us know what you thought about the episode. Like I said, the title is The Northern Star. So yeah, take it away. What did you think about the premiere of season 2 of Daredevil Born Again?
I was a little disappointed because it was only one episode. To be fair, lately with the Disney Plus releases, they've been giving us, you know, kind of 2 at a time. We are going to be getting 2 episodes on, I believe it's March 31st, I think I saw in the schedule.
Yeah, next week.
3 and 4,
yeah.
right?
No, it's
Yeah.
2 and 3.
Oh, 2 and 3. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if you guys watched it yet or not, but they came out swinging. This is amazing. It looks really good so far. It's very cohesive. It all makes sense. It's the pacing is done well. They started off essentially with a bang. We come back, you know, Matt and Karen are officially together. They're both in hiding. They're enemy number 1 with Fisk's task force, as Daredevil is, you know, the vigilante, and Karen was aiding and abetting the vigilante, so they're looking for her. Got a lot of ICE vibes going on. I mean, real commentary about what's going on in the real world right now, but I thought it was great. It was really good. Again, Fisk is back in the driving seat. You guys, Matthew Lillard joined the cast, which I don't think we saw him in the trailer initially, so that was a surprise
he had
for me.
It was like a second, not even.
Man, it's exciting. He plays kind of a recluse agent from Langley who is working along with Fisk. So it's looking as though Fisk is the middleman between the government's shady dealings and, you know, the stuff that he's got going on himself. So, you know, one hand is shaking the other in that situation. So it's pretty crazy. They have hired Matt's ex-girlfriend, Dr. Heather, to be the psychologist or psychiatrist for the vigilantes that they do arrest under the task force. But because of her trauma with her experience with Muse in the last season, it has kind of been the catalyst for her to just want to eradicate all vigilantes in general, because she is still traumatized. So we keep seeing, as she's throughout the episode, she was seeing visions of Muse. Like, he would always be kind of standing in front of her when she would have a second to think. And so it's driving her to continue to help Fisk essentially just get these vigilantes, quote unquote, off the street for, you know, no matter any means necessary. So she's become a bad guy. And yeah, it's looking a little crazy. We have yet to see Punisher. We have yet to see Jessica Jones, even though Jessica Jones is highly featured in the trailer itself. So we'll see what happens that when they do show up. I'm assuming the Punisher storyline is going to then feed into the connection with the next Spider-Man film, since we know Punisher is going to be in that. And we did see Matt Murdock in a Spider-Man film already. So they are still trying to...
Well, you know, Vincent D'Onofrio already mentioned that Punisher isn't going to show up in season 2, but we do have the special presentation, which is going to come out 1 week after season 2. So there's that, and then that will probably feed into Brand New Day. Okay. If I were to take a guess.
We are also getting Bullseye. We haven't seen him yet in the first episode, but he does make himself known. I can say that in the first episode already. So I'm really looking forward to that dynamic and how that character is going to play into it. As you saw with these stills, these guys are at the premiere of the season. Our boy Foggy is there, still still making me believe that he is going to show up. He's not really dead in the storyline. I think he is in hiding. So I mean, I can't get off it. So I think that's going to happen, whether it's this season, whether it's season 3, because I'm sure they will get a season 3. I don't know, but it started off really well. What's that?
They already started filming. There were some.
Yeah,
we saw some behind the scenes stuff. So season 3 is being filmed right now.
Awesome.
So yeah, 100% season 3 already. So good for them.
And I still think John Bernthal is going to make an appearance. I know Vincent said he's not, but I don't. They can't just leave us hanging like that. So I'm sure he'll be there in one way or another. But regardless, season 2 started off really well. The first episode was great. Please check it out. Matt is just coming in full swing. Matt Murdock, he ain't playing no more. He's gone back to fully embracing his Daredevil persona and the pursuit of taking down Fisk. And he and Karen are going after him. So it looks pretty awesome.
I thought you were going to say they're going at it. I'm like, well,
they're doing that too, gang. Good for them. Good for them. 2 kids in love.
Yeah. Well, I think what Anthony just mentioned, the idea that this is starting to feel more, at least in season 2 so far, like the Netflix version of the show than season 1 did, which season 1 was a little bit of a mix of a couple of different things, because there were the 2 different directions that the show went in, and they kept some of the original direction, and then when they redid it, they didn't get rid of everything. So it feels like this season they have a more cohesive direction, and I've read some reviews for the entirety of the show for some of the media members who have had a chance to see it early, and they all kind of mention the same thing thematically. But then you look at the reviews, sitting at 94% certified fresh and Rotten Tomatoes with 63 reviews, 96% audience rating. Now there's not as many reviews as most movies get on Rotten Tomatoes, but it is enough to be certified fresh. I think, according to comicbookmovie.com, this makes it now the second highest rated Marvel TV show on Rotten Tomatoes, which is impressive as far as the MCU goes, of course. Liz, what do you think? Do you think, I mean, it's, again, having just seen only one episode, do you think these reviews are in line with what you have seen so far in the premiere?
Yeah, again, like I said, I was disappointed that we only got the 1 episode, because I'm pumped, I'm motivated, I'm ready to go. It looks really, really good. Like I said, I think they learned from their mistakes in season 1, and now it's just.
I think they could only do so much, for season 1 of that being like so many production problems. Shooting it, reshooting it because of, they're like, hey, why is this garbage? Reshoot this shit. But then you have still a little bit of the garbage left, and then they had to make it work, and then it didn't work, and then. So I can't blame them too hard for a mixed season 1 after what happened. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? Marvel has been on a bit of a streak, because I feel like the last 2 or 3 things they've put on TV have felt like they've become, this is the highest. Like, I think Wonder Man became the highest ranked show in the MCU on Disney Plus, and now Daredevil becomes like the second highest. And Wonder Man just got renewed for season 2, which only became the 3rd show that they've done on Disney Plus from the MCU that's gonna be renewed for a season 2. Loki and
Miss
Daredevil
Marvel
being the other. So
Miss Marvel, number 1.
Well, it is. It's still, that's great. Love it. You know what? Can never go wrong with Miss Marvel. That show was so much fun. I'm very biased, but I still think it's a great show, and not enough people saw it. But anyway, hey John, we did actually. I think you have it. We got some new character posters. Fisk off. I don't know how much I like that, but anyway, we got some new posters of Jessica Jones. You got Karen there. Take our city. What's that?
That's Bullseye.
That's Bullseye.
That's Bullseye. I should just learn to read. It says it right there. Freedom. I mean, these character posters look. I like the marketing for this. Liz, have you? I don't know if either John or Liz that you've been in the city in recent times, but they've been using these posters in like the New York subways. Like you'll see them like literally like in the like you get off the train and you're like, oh, it's the perfect kind of marketing that is so on brand for a show that takes place in the underground, the perceived undergrounds of New York City. I love these designs. It's very, very iconic to the show's identity. What do you think about these posters?
I think they're looking good, bro.
Yeah, I had seen the Daredevil ones that they had started putting out first, and you know, they look very similar to these, and I just think the marketing is brilliant. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's very iconic. It's like it's got a very, you know, iconic design to it, like the red color, black and white. It's got the grungy, you know, textures, and it's just great. As somebody who dabbles in graphic design, as it were, I really appreciate the designs that we've got here. So
and also, I don't know if you guys have talked about it yet, but this season with his suit is all black, but as he is more active, as he gets into more fights, as he is, you know, doing his thing throughout the season, the black starts to wear off, so you can see the red underneath. So all of this is just it all ties in really well together, and it's pretty.
Bro pulled the Miles Morales and just fucking spray painted his suit.
Yep.
Well, I can't wait to see once all the black is gone, and then we just get the red suit with the double D's.
Wow, Dan, in the year of our Lord 2026, you want to get rid of the black? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, especially with our new Snape. Come on now. What do you think this is?
Okay. Let's not jump ahead, but anyway, I think we'll leave it there for Daredevil Born Again season 2 right now. We'll of course be reviewing it as the episodes drop. Of course, we'll have 2 episodes to talk about next week. So, with that in mind, let us know in the comments down below. Did you see it? What did you think about Daredevil Born Again season 2? Episode 1, The Northern Star. We didn't want to get too deep into the spoilers, but you're welcome to let us know in the comments any theories you might have, and we'll bring those in for next week's review, as well as on the Friday show when we do a Q&A session. So, in the meantime, we got to glaze Project Hail Mary a little bit more. Of course, can't stop you know, talking about it. Can't stop saying good things. There's not enough that, you know, you could say to like hype up this movie. So we just decided that as long as we can, we'll just have a segment on the show where we simply just glaze the film. So, as the kids would say, John, why don't you walk us through some of these pieces of viral social media marketing?
Rocky has woken up from a sleep cycle, and he says, "Thank you to all his friends who observed him sleep."
Yeah, you observe Rocky sleep, Rocky safe. Amaze, jazz hands, love it. This is great. I think this was like a live stream and people literally tuned in just to watch Rocky sleep, which is probably just like a still image for all we know, like, but like, you know, and then the character wakes. It just like, it's you know, you talk about good marketing, they've nailed all these elements. Like they know what they've got.
It's really sweet.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's Adrian. Yeah. Or like I love the thing. He's like, it's just great. The emoting is great. Yes, love it. We talked about the puppeteer supervisor, who I think is a mute person themselves, and she went to see the movie, saw her name in the credits, and we're just, you know, shedding tears of joy because it's always good, you know, just an amazing experience if you were a part of a movie this big to see your name in the credits. And so you could tell, like, you know, they had some really amazing people working behind the scenes with, you know, a character that clearly, even with the translation, the body language, they didn't do the whole George Lucas thing where Rocky just did whatever looked cute and we just, you know, translated it to English. They had more of a method to the madness. Like there's actually linguistic, you know, foundations in the way Rocky's body language is, like the way he emotes physically, but also in the rhythms of the sound, or as close to it as, you know, they could have made it. So yeah, I just love, and you know, of course, then they give you the English translation, which is more or less, you know, like that's just a made up language, but they didn't just make it up and say gibberish and we'll just, you know, put subtitles over it in post-production like in the original Star Wars movie. So I appreciate the attention to detail. But yeah, let's keep going, John. Let's glaze Project Hail Mary a little bit more.
But how life feels after watching Project Hail Mary, and it's just, you know, just being like, ain't that
of course nice? Then he's doing the Hulk Hogan pose, like, you know, it's just, I love it. Great. That was one of my like point finger, like I was turning to Leo in the movie theater. I was like, he did the pose. Yeah, there were several moments like that. Or I'm just gonna ask Liz, because I've asked John this, I'm sure John caught it. There was a Superman reference in this movie, right? Did you catch it?
I sure did.
Yeah.
I sure did. And I'm glad you brought it up because it made me so happy. And I thought of you boys. And yeah. Amazing. It was so good.
The whole like, yes. Great stuff. I'm like, Rocky probably had no idea what he was talking about, but it's great. Or the Meryl Streep cameo.
I love it because again, it's written by the same guy that wrote The Martian, and in The Martian they have an Iron Man reference. So you can tell this dude.
And Drew Goddard almost directed and wrote a Sinister Six movie, so there's that too.
Exactly.
So, and he was on Daredevil. He had to leave to do the Sinister Six movie that never happened. So he is a fan. He is clearly a fan.
That's what I'm saying. This dude is clearly somebody that we would all hang out with and have a good time with.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, Drew Goddard. Just give Drew Goddard all the things, like
whatever you want.
All the movies, writing or directing. Otherwise, I've heard Times at the El Royale was very good. I have not seen it, but I have heard it's very good.
Oh yeah,
and he did a great job with Cabin in the Woods too.
Yeah.
But
by the way, Walter Mitty is an amazing film, Caleb. Yeah.
Yeah, although that was Ben Stiller. I don't know why we're talking about that, but
no, because Caleb brought it up. Like, gave him the same feeling that he got from watching Walter Mitty the first time.
Gotcha. Okay, I didn't see that part. But Walter Mitty, very underrated film, I will say.
Absolutely.
But another thing that I found like right before we started, and I'm like, I saw this and I'm like, you know what? We're glazing Project Hail Mary again. Why don't we glaze Ryan Gosling too for being based, Knuff, and literally me? And he said something I think pretty much everyone here could agree with, because he tells Hollywood it's not the audience's job to keep theaters open.
Oh, yes.
It's the job of directors, writers in Hollywood to make things that are worth people to go fucking see. It's like, wow, what a concept. If you build it, they will come. If you make a good movie, people will go and see it. Crazy. What? What do you mean we can throw Dakota Johnson in spandex and people won't automatically fucking see it? What do you mean? We have to put effort behind this shit? Oh no. It's like, I know, it's crazy. People will go see a good movie. Insane. But it just proves that Ryan Gosling is indeed based. He is indeed Knuff, and he's literally me. So, it's just like, it's like, make a good movie and people will fucking go and see it. Or just put a shit ton of nostalgia bait in it, like Marvel's doing with Deadpool and Wolverine and Avengers Doomsday, and then people will still go see that, but that's beside the point. So,
I mean, Ryan Gosling is just winning at life in general, on all accounts. But I mean, Liz, this is something we had the video for this because he showed up in one of the theaters on Thursday night, opening night for the movie, and he obviously thanked the fans, and he signed a few autographs, took some photos. But this is one of the things that he had said as part of, and it didn't seem like it was a rehearsed speech. It was just more him speaking off the cuff. But genuinely, I think the point is well taken and very well said, because it's up to studios and storytellers and filmmakers in Hollywood to make the movies that will compel the audiences to come to the movie theater and not sit at home and wait till it goes to streaming.
Academy Awards, and this is probably going to get him a third nod.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, also, Liz, like this, Ryan Gosling's on a generational run right now, from Barbie to this. He signed on to this movie 6 years ago before the book was published. He had the manuscript before the book got published. Then he signed on because MGM bought the rights to the book before it got published to make a movie. And then they've waited then they went and got Lord and Miller. And then they waited to actually start working on the script until Drew Goddard freed up from his project that he was working on before this. And then, things kind of started rolling. I mean, he made Barbie along the way and everything, but this has been 6 years in the making. What do you take away from Ryan Gosling's sentiment? I mean, I'm sure you agree with it, but like, you probably see more movies than any of us here every
That's
year.
Fair.
So,
well, and he's also, again, he's going to be a part of the next Star Wars franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I think what everybody likes about Ryan Gosling is that he is a fan first and foremost. So he doesn't sign on to projects just to get a check, just to keep his name in the papers. He is genuinely interested in everything that he makes himself a part of, and he puts his everything behind it, and he truly can go out there and market it, knowing that it's something of quality, regardless of whether or not it's popular. I mean, he's been in a number of films that haven't done that well. Maybe he himself it was a great performance, but for whatever reason, just the audiences didn't go see them or what have you. But it didn't matter to him because the project itself was worthy. And I think that's really, really important. You know, again, I went and saw Vampires of the Velvet Lounge. Fucking terrible film. Absolutely horrible. Stephen Dorff is in it. Stephen Dorff is one of those that now he's just signing on to films just for fun and for a paycheck. And I appreciate that about him. But again, you know, he and Ryan are on very different levels and
plus Stephen Dorff is a working actor. Ryan Gosling has the clout to be able to pick and choose the projects he wants because it's Ryan Gosling. So
no, but I think Stephen could have done that along the lines at some point too, but he has decided to go one way, Ryan has decided to go another, and it worked for both of them and it's fine. But again, I just think the fact that, you know, we know every single time Ryan is attached to something, it is of quality, it is of substance, it might make you feel, it might make you think, but no matter what, he's going to, he is Knuff, and he will put his all into all of it. So I want this man to succeed at every avenue of life, and I just couldn't be happier for the success of the film.
Yeah,
I will say my two favorite stories. I don't know if we've talked about like Project Hail Mary and Ryan Gosling so much. I don't know what videos we've talked about and which ones we haven't on the show, but one that I think he was I think he was accepting or presenting an award. I think he was accepting an award. I forget which one, probably like a Lifetime Achievement Award or something. And he was saying like, when he was like a kid, he was like, I was a delinquent. I was a ne'er-do-well. I like talked back to teachers. I swore I didn't care. And he was like, when my mom was reprimanding me for it, I was swearing back at her. And she's like, fine, you go a week without movies. He's like, okay, fine, I'll fucking swear even more. And then she's like, now you're 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know, the typical parent thing to do. And then he was like, you know, during one of those filmless nights, I realized how important movies were to me. And this was something I wanted to do. And so that's definitely, you know, and during kind of going off of what Liz said, like he's a fan first. There's that. It's just, it was kind of like a nice, like, okay, it's clear that like this guy cares enough. But yeah, I mean, yes, he does. Apparently he wants to be Ghost Rider, which I don't know if I could see that, but like he could probably make it work.
Well, talks
like,
have been had. Kevin Feige is like, I'd love to put him somewhere in the MCU. So I mean, clearly both sides are open to it. But as far as I mean, another clip we talked about recently, Ryan Gosling was mentioning like, look, he grew up watching, you know, growing up, there was things like Star Trek and stuff back in the day, like Hopeful, E.T. I think it was the Drew Barrymore show, and he was talking about like her movie E.T. was something that they looked up to, and that, you know, him and Ava, you know, his wife Ava Mendes, like they look for stuff like that today for their kids, and so part of his motivation was he wanted to make this movie. He keeps calling it the most ambitious thing he's ever done, partly for his kids, so his kids could have a story like that to look up to, where you have that hopeful feeling for the future. Because it's like this very abstract idea of you walk out of the movie feeling hopeful about life, and there's not many movies these days where you go into the theater and walk out like.
I think we're getting more though. I think like Superman was a big one.
Yes,
I know that there. I mean, I know I love to shit on Game of Thrones, and I will happily, but like you know, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, that was like a hopeful story. It's just like, hey, this himbo wants to be a knight. And that's just that's it. That's the story. He's just like, I want to be a knight. I'm gonna be a knight. Why? Because I want to be. And like that's what people call hope core now is like, that's kind of the vibe that like people like. I feel like we're kind of going back. Sure, we still have those like more like, you know, darker nihilistic stories, which is fine. I don't mind that either. I mean, my favorite film of all time is like nihilism personified. But it's still like it's all about balance. Like you can have Star Trek where it's like optimistic for the future, but then at the same time you could also have something darker, you know, like but it's just like, it's all about, you know, balance. It's just like when you're being just like kind of just forced fed all this like dread and fear, not just from real life, but even from escape. It's like, okay, I want to go to this thing for escapism, but I can't even escape. Like, I can't escape the terror because in movies I'm getting terror. Like, I don't want that. But then, Project Hail Mary comes in.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ryan Gosling. Thank you. Praise
Yes.
be.
Yeah.
But praise be the Canadian. The best Canadian Ryan. There, I said it. I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
Anyway.
100%, John. 100%. I mean, it also helps that he was
and
a Coke as
I
well.
partly blame Mint Mobile for that. Fuck those ads. Anyway, but my favorite is The Thing. It's John Carpenter's The Thing, which is very dark, foreboding. The world is terrible kind of shit. So also going back to Geeky Guy's earlier comment, I did want to touch upon this before we moved on. That is not correct because I just looked it up. Lord and Miller wrote the movie and they produced it. Both of them wrote the movie.
They're still involved.
I think
Yeah.
Phil Lord wrote the first one. Both of them wrote Across,
Mhm.
and both of them wrote Beyond, and they're
And-
also producing it again. But they're not.
Yeah, and then but they did also talk about doing interview. They've done many interviews for Project Hail Mary, and they keep getting asked about that as one of those questions. So they did mention in one of them that like they're still on track for 2027 summer release, and things are coming along well. So they're very much still attached to that film. So it won't. I don't think there's anything to worry about.
But the thing is,
there.
maybe
No, it's their script, dude. Like they are actively in that. They're producing, writing that movie. It's not like they got set
and plus,
aside
like
for
with
that.
how Project Hail Mary's going, they're not gonna fucking like, oh yeah, let's take away the script from the guys that's literally just made a $100 million movie in not even 2 weekends. Like, come on, I mean, Sony's stupid, but they're not that stupid.
Well, but not to mention, I think that if anything, the speculation is that Sony might make them in charge of like at least the animated side, or like do more spin-offs of the Spider-Verse, and they would be the ones who kind of become the James Gunn or Kevin Feige of that world. We did not get to Lord of the Rings yet. We will be getting there soon though. But yeah, I mean, Project Hail Mary, can't say enough good things about it, and
and we will continue to glaze it for
we'll glaze it. I mean, dude, Ryan Gosling's beta male, natural sense, comedic timing, sense of humor, personality that he just infuses into all these performances. He's just Ken. Anywhere else he'd be a 10. Like we'll just. But
the thing is, Ryan Gosling is a 10, and that's what makes him great.
Yep.
And
so is this movie.
Well, you let us know in the comments down below what you thought about Project Hail Mary if you haven't already seen it. If you're gonna see it a second, third, fourth time, I'm gonna be on my third time next time I go see it.
I'm gonna try and convince my mom to fucking go see it.
Please do.
She's like, oh, I'm interested in seeing this, but she's been so busy with like other stuff, and I'm like, okay, Mom, this weekend let's go see Project Hail Mary. I'll go see it again.
Didn't she say no to you last time, and you were like, fine, I'll find somebody else to go, and then
what happened was I went with my dad the first time. I didn't go with him the second time. That's what it was. But what happened was because I thought she wanted to go on the Saturday, but she's like, no, I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, what about like during the week? She's like, I'm busy during the week. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go by myself because I want us to go see this movie again. So I did.
Yeah.
And I go by myself because I don't like anyone else. So.
Fair enough. And on that note, we
scheduling
move on.
other people like, oh yeah, you gotta.
No, it's like whenever I ask Fiona, we have to like look cross-reference schedules, like timings. It's all good. It's how things work, right? Everybody's got some stuff going on, and not everybody's gonna be as big of a movie fan as you are. But hey, let's talk about some TV talk terror. Terror being relative term.
Very big story today. Yes.
The Harry Potter series trailer dropped, and we saw like the marketing for like there was an image of Harry Potter like in his Quidditch uniform yesterday, and then HBO Max is promoting it as tomorrow with like the little scar emoji, which I think is also the lightning emoji. But basically everybody was thinking we're gonna get the trailer. We did get the trailer. It didn't drop at like 9 a.m. It dropped at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, on US Eastern time. HBO Max, just for context, they just launched in the UK. They had a whole launch event. We'll look at a video for that later. But before we get to any of that stuff, the trailer came out. It's a couple of minutes long. We know the title now is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, not Sorcerer's Stone. So they're going with that, the OG title across the board. I'm guessing they're going to title each season as Harry Potter and, the name of the book. But the biggest surprise to me was this set is going to release Christmas 2026. I love this trailer. This trailer was like made me feel like a kid again all of a sudden. I know this is not exactly the movies, and I know there's some aspects that were for me a little bit lacking, but only by comparison. On its own, I loved almost everything about this, and it's one of those things where I'm going in with an open mindset. If I try to go into, and this is just my opinion, if I try to compare it to the movies, I'm probably going to set myself up for disappointment because there's so many emotions that I have attached to the movies, having grown up on Harry Potter, growing up the books, the movies. So I loved it. I'm gonna leave it there for now. I'm sure we're gonna talk about it more, but I want to hear from you guys. We'll start. I mean, I guess we'll start with you, Liz. What did you think about the Harry Potter trailer for season 1 coming out later this year?
I think it looks really good. I'm really looking forward to it. You can clearly tell already that they're giving us more details from the book that a lot of people, like we've talked about in the past, were disappointed that they left out in the films. So I'm really thankful that they are dedicating a full season to each story so they can include all of those little subtle things that we were missing. It's weird for me hearing different voices come out of the same characters. You know what I mean? Like particularly for me, for hearing Hagrid, I'm like that. What? Like, it's just, I wish Nick would put just a little more of an accent in there, just to give it a little more. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about it, but at the same time, I'm feeling like this is weird, you guys. I don't know, but I love that it's coming out on Christmas, so I will certainly be watching it. Either, I don't know if I'm starting my Christmas with it or if I'm finishing my Christmas with it, but that don't call my house. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I mean, John, what did you think about it? Yeah.
I thought it was good. I will say the one thing I hated is the thing I hate with most movies coming out is the fact that it looks so colorless and bland. Like, it's so gray and so brown. And I'm like, we're supposed to be entering a magical world and it's just gross looking, and I'm like, all right, okay. But
I mean, okay, like, a little bit
outside of that, I kind of went in. I wasn't expecting to hate the trailer or anything, but I'm like, okay, what is this gonna do? And I was like, all right, I was charmed by it. I was like, all right, this seems like an okay, good trailer. Am I gonna watch it? I'm not sure yet. I'm still on the fence because, well, one, I hate J.K. Rowling as a person. She's a terrible person, and I don't want to give her more support or more money because she doesn't deserve it. So if I were to watch it, I would probably pirate it, and I will say that publicly because I don't give a fuck because I'm not supporting her. And then I've been talking with people. I have a couple trans friends who are very much not happy about this, which is understandable. They are 100% valid for thinking that because, J.K. Rowling is still getting press and like support and like with this whole thing coming out. So they're very upset by that, which I feel for them because they're friends of mine. I don't want them to, they're in they're like, I don't want to support, I'm not going to be watching this, I'm not going to be supporting this, so they're obviously very upset by that. So there's that whole discussion too. And I think that, I know this is supposed to be like happy, oh, it's a good trailer, a happy occasion, but like I still think that's important enough to say, because that is the gigantic elephant in the room right now, is the fact that despite this trailer looking good, the actors look good, it looks closer to the books while also doing its own thing, but it's still enough to be like, hey, the person who wrote this is a horrible person with horrible beliefs. So there's that too. She's a producer on the show.
I mean, she's an executive producer, but she's not really involved in the sense that she's.
But even then, it's still all of this
I get what you're saying.
Stuff is going to her. So
right, no. Well, the thing, I totally understand what you're saying.
Well, and that's something that I wanted to bring up, because in the trailer they say from J.K. Rowling,
the beloved books written by J.K. Rowling.
When I saw that, I was like, ugh, like
that's
we
what
could have worded it
differently.
We could, it could have been, the classic tale of Harry Potter, or the story
or from the beloved books.
Yeah,
of the same name. Blah blah blah.
Didn't have to put her name out there, because we all I don't think there's a single person that doesn't get the ick thinking about the fact that she is still.
I mean, there are people that don't, like assholes who are, gonna. And I will say, hate
to be
J.K.
fair,
Rowling all you want.
What's crazy about that to me is the people that do support her awful views are also people that have absolutely no interest in stories like this. They don't have any interest in whimsy or magic or satanic stuff like what they believe wizardry is.
Well,
so it's all, the whole thing is just so wild. But yes,
yeah,
it was a disappointment for me in the trailer that they
full
on
did say that. That's what
but I'm just
the thing I thought.
It's fair, and I think it's worth saying. But again, I don't want the narrative to get hijacked by that whole.
No, I know, I understand.
It's part of it,
it's
but
still
it's
like this person.
It's so far beyond like the franchise
has said this terrible thing, and and unfortunately, it's gonna be dragged with that. That is the giant like this. You know what this feels like? It's like. It feels like the opening of like Les Miserables, where they're carrying the ship, and like Harry Potter is like Jean Valjean. The ship, the giant thing of baggage that they're dragging, that's J.K. Rowling's view. So no matter what, that is going to be carried with this show, whether you like it or not, which is unfortunate because it looks like a good show. And I will say this, ignoring her, we shouldn't ignore that, but I'm just saying for the sake of the argument that I'm about to say right now, let's just divorce ourselves from that and just not think about the gigantic
because you can't let it hijack. Because then what's the point? Like I separate the art from the artist. I'm like I enjoy the show. Like it's because here's the thing. The other side of that argument is
it's French. It's
by making that the center focus, you are completely disregarding the thousands of people that worked on the show. J.K. Rowling is, because here's the thing, this is not exaggeration. She's an executive producer on the show. She collects the royalty checks. She's not somebody who wrote the treatment. Like those Fantastic Beasts movies, she was writing treatments. She was involved with the script writing and stuff too. Here, she's got none of that level of involvement. She's getting to sign off on certain things, but I mean, ultimately, the thousands of other people who are spending 12-hour days year round. The kids in the show literally are living and working at Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden, going to a school they built temporarily so the kids can just stay on studio backlot and in Watford. And so I'm like, you don't want to disregard that work by hijacking the narrative, that's what I mean.
There are hundreds of thousands of people that work for Tesla and work for X. That doesn't change the fact that the person behind it all is a giant piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay? No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying I don't want it to hijack the narrative.
I appreciate that you're trying to kind of minimize her role in this. She wasn't a huge part of the films either. She really wasn't there that much. They consulted with her. Again, she was a producer on that as well. She had no part of the casting, those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, a horrible person is profiting off of this, and that's the hard pill to swallow. That's the hard part
that people can't get behind.
We can't ignore it. We
can't ignore it. But I'm
not saying to ignore it. I just don't want it to become like the prime narrative of.
And that's what I'm talking about.
The script. As long as that bee remains on this earth, it's going to be a problem.
I am going to diverge, just kind of separate it a little bit, just for now, just to get this piece out, because I think this is important enough. Yes, bad things, bad person, all that stuff. Let's just try to diverge a little bit, because when watching the trailer, I will say, I'm like, I could like this show. I could hate this show. I could think it's an okay show, somewhere in between. I don't know. I think the cast looks good. I think it does have that whimsy, that charm, as I mentioned. But watching the trailer, I thought of one fucking thing. And I think that's the most important thing in regards to this trailer and what it's setting out to do, what this show is setting out to do. The one thing I thought of, the constant thing that when it hits start, when you see Harry for the first time, and I'm like, there are kids that are going to watch this show that are going to be feeling the same exact things I did as a kid when I watched Philosopher's Stone in theaters for the first time. And that's the most important part to me, is that kids are going to grow up with this story. Is it too soon? Is it maybe unnecessary? Possibly. But I think they should have waited maybe another like 1 or 2 decades to really do it again, but HBO and WB.
But it's also, it's Hollywood.
So they want to make money as soon as possible. So, but that's the one thing I thought of, and I'm like, you know what? It doesn't really matter what I think. I mean, it kind of does. I mean, everybody has an opinion, and everyone deserves to voice that opinion, no matter what. But that was the big thing for me, is like, this is very different. Some things are good, some things are not good, but I'm just like, the thing I'm thinking about is the kids, the Gen Alpha, younger Gen Z,
right,
Gen Beta, which, ouch that they're called that, but that are gonna watch
I
the
didn't know that was a
show. They're gonna
thing.
be entranced by this world. They're gonna love this world, and either they'll go back and read the books, they'll go back and maybe watch the movies. Maybe their parents are gonna show them that. So they're gonna grow up loving Harry Potter, and I think the idea of Harry Potter persevering despite the horrible, person behind it all, I think that matters.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
that's what I was
and
trying to
and to an earlier point that you guys were making, like the whole putting a different voice on the characters. Warwick Davis is actually returning and reprising his role as Professor Phileas Flitwick. So there you go. There's at least that one continuity. Because to me, it's still hard to buy Nick Frost as Hagrid. I think John Lithgow as Dumbledore looks more the part, but that's just the aura of John Lithgow.
And he's really good with voices as well. He's a great voice actor.
He plays more British people, characters than most British people.
But again, for me, when they're saying, "Oh, we're gonna bring Warwick back," I'm like, okay, well, Marion Margulies is still alive. Like, there's a lot of people you could still bring back. Like, Filch is still alive. Like, I feel like I don't. Not that I don't love Warwick, and I'm happy that he's a part of it, but at the same time, I'm like, no, if you're changing everything, change everything. Like, you're not there. There are other little people that are in the acting game that could do that. So
hashtag Brad Williams for Flitwick.
I'm saying it's just, so for me, like, that it's kind of a weird. I don't know if it's a compromise, if it's a cop out. I don't know. It's that part of it is bizarre for me.
Yeah, by the way, John, I think can you switch over to the stills for a moment, because we have actually the launch event video trailers. I think Deadline was at not the only ones, but they were at the event, and they had posted this little video from the event. I think it's right there, that video, where they did the trailer launch, because HBO Max just launched in the UK, so there's a big event going on later today on Wednesday, or actually it just happened today on Wednesday, and as part of all of that, the Harry Potter trailer drops. So it all makes sense, and we'll talk about it. Casey Bloys doing a big interview about HBO Max's expansion to the UK later in the show. But let's kind of, because again, I feel like we've talked around the trailer, but let's get into the trailer a little bit more. If you have, John, I think if you, there's another article from the BBC, which I think pointed out a good amount of the differences that we see here. Some stuff that we already see in the trailer that we never got to see in the first movie, which was like a Harry Potter going to a Muggle school and getting, of course, bullied by his cousin, the Dursley, kid, and then of course Aunt Petunia giving him that haircut and stuff. That stuff, and then obviously, and then the whole Hagrid taking him through the underground in London. Those are all things that were not in the movie, either because they were changed or omitted for the first film. What did you make of that? Because obviously it seems like they are going to be expanding. They've said they're going to be not only giving us more of what was in the books that you just couldn't fit into a 3-hour-long movie, but at the same time they'll be expanding some stuff, like Draco Malfoy. We're going to see what his home life looked like, which we really didn't get to see much here. But your thoughts on what you saw in this trailer that specifically stood out from what we have seen in the movies before. I mean, Liz, did any of that stuff stick out to you, and are you interested and excited to, or maybe not, to see those elements that weren't shown in the movies?
Yeah, well, and that's what I was referring to, is specifically the haircut scene in the trailer. I was like, oh, okay, yes, they are giving us some pieces, and yes, him going to an all Muggle school and his interaction with the Dursleys. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that for sure. And by the way, the Snape character, go ahead, babe. Yeah. Looking forward to that guy.
There's Warwick Davis coming back, baby. That's like that. He helps ground like those fans of the originals.
No, let's get that wicked bitch.
Can you go to the next one? We have some stills from the trailer.
I will say, like, I have nothing against Papa Asidu as Snape. I'm sure he's going to do a good job. He has very, 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 very big shoes to fill. So there's that. But I will say he looks fine. that costume just reads like generic British guy, like oi bruv in it bottle water type guy. Like he looks like he's wearing the generic tracksuit, and like it looks like every dude in like fucking Manchester just like, hey, oi, what are you doing?
I lived in Manchester. Don't be talking down to us folks from Mancunians. Come on.
I'm just like,
no, I mean, come on now.
You know,
you ever been to Manchester?
That's what I think of when I look at that.
I lived in Manchester, man. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway,
you're saying he went into Jason Statham's wardrobe and was like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
But I will say,
like,
yes.
Literally, right next to that Dumbledore, like, got the velvet robe. He looks more like Dumbledore. Like, Michael Gambon, may he rest in peace. He did a very good job, very different from what Richard Harris did. But, like, when I imagine Dumbledore, Richard Harris and John Lithgow is what I imagine. Michael Gambon was not what I imagined.
The Red Devils, yeah.
But that's, they had to do something very different after Harris passed away. So, there was that. But it's just like, I love how like you have like this lavish dude in these robes, keystone wizard right here. And then it's just like generic dude from like on the streets of London, just like a oi bruv in it. Like, like again, nothing against the actor.
Yes.
Like I know.
No,
I hope he's okay. I hope his mental health is okay. Dealing with a lot of the haters.
We talked about that the other day. But speaking of, actually, I still don't understand the backlash because there's nothing in the books that says like anything about the color of the character.
No, it's not about that. We had the same problem when Potterverse came out, and JK had said that originally Hermione was supposed to be African American, so they made Hermione African American in the Potterverse, and people lost their absolute fucking minds over that too. I mean, it's the Black Little Mermaid. You know what I mean? It's we can't have a black Bond. We can't have a black Superman. It's all that same argument, but also unfortunately, the UK has a lot of serious racist undertones, and that's not going away, just like here in our own country. And they're quite vocal whenever any African-American person does well. So it's really fucking unfortunate that these actors can't just go out and pursue a career without getting shit on no matter what they do. It doesn't matter the fact that he's playing a beloved character. It doesn't matter that the original actor was white and now he's African American. None of that has anything to do with it at all. It's the fact that it's an African American stepping out of the world and just existing, and it's so fucking terrible. But even the children are getting death threats as well. It's fucked. Like, listen, you can be a rabid fan and you can have strong feelings, but for you to attack a child for taking a job, you're a particular fucked up type of individual, and it's just awful.
I can't judge Papa Sidu because I have not seen him in anything, so I don't know how good or bad he is.
But
so I can't.
But also, look, dude, look. Arabella Stanton has played Matilda in the West End, and she is probably the most talented of the three young actors playing those like characters between Ron,
I know
Harry,
Stout,
and Hermione.
who's playing Ron Weasley. He hasn't really acted in anything yet, so this is like his first real big project.
First big thing.
I will say the only thing that there is actually a description of Snape in the book, from what I remember. They describe him as pale with like a long nose and the greasy black hair. And that's kind of it. I mean, you could have a pale black person, but like, Papa Sidu's not. But at the end of the day, it's like, whatever. I mean,
you could elevate the costume design a bit more. I agree with that.
If he was absolutely the best person for the role, then fine, whatever. But it's just like I've just said this before and I'll say it again. It's just like they just got to really work with the writing in terms of two very distinct cases, because a geeky guy already mentioned this. The first is like the reason Harry doesn't like Snape is because the guy looks suspicious, and I'm like, when you're saying about that about the only black teacher in the entire school, I'm like, that's a little awkward. So I'm sure they're gonna rewrite a couple things to make Harry like not racist. And then you have when Order of the Phoenix comes out, season 5 or 6 or whenever they decide to do it, they're gonna have James beating the shit out of Snape, and it's like, well, I hope they have other black students so it doesn't look like James Potter commits hate crimes. So there's that as well. I just hope that they make it proper so it's not like so it's not awkward. That's the only thing I hope for. It's just
Yeah.
like, okay, you're casting this guy, but like at the same time, you gotta like rewrite some stuff so it's.
Yeah. I think, did John just freeze on us? I
He
think
did.
Okay. By the way, I do agree with some of you guys in the chat. The Nick Frost beard did look a little taped,
Budget.
not taped on, but
Little
like
budget.
it's just like I feel like after having why am I forgetting Robbie Coltrane play Hagrid, who was such a
Yeah.
textured,
Yeah.
weathered of a giant of a man in real life. It's kind of hard
Oh,
to live up to that.
I think, well, and I think as a testament to Robbie Coltrane, because he played that
Yeah.
character so well, he was so beloved. I think
Mhm.
that's the hard part too, is it's hard for anyone to fill those shoes regardless of who it is. I mean, Jonathan Rhys Davies could do it, but it's just not, it's not our Hagrid, man. And it's nothing against Nick. Nick's going to be great. He's a great actor. I know he's looking forward to it. But man, it hurts. It hurts that Robbie's gone. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's what it is.
It's gonna be hard. This is where when I said like I go into it with an open mind, because if I try to compare it to what I saw before, because if you do play the comparison game, the cinematography doesn't feel as iconic as those movies, not as atmospheric. This definitely has more of that, like you're watching a streaming show and not a movie. There's clearly directors, auteur vision that like Chris Columbus making those movies back in the early 2000s and stuff. Like it just had a different it was more iconic, more atmospheric. The cinematography was more.
Well, I think that was the point John was trying to make, that it does seem almost clinical. Like it seems like too clean. It's, whereas all of the films, granted, yes, they had a bunch of different directors and cinematography was different from film to film, but they were all darker. They were heavier feeling. They were more serious feeling to them. Whereas this is just like, oh, this is just an afternoon TV show kind of, that's kind of how it feels right now. I'm sure once we get into it and once the story really starts to unfold, it'll start to feel differently. And I've got to assume that as the seasons carry on, they're going to get darker, just like they did with the films, as the subject matter gets darker and darker. But I see exactly where John was coming from and with that comment.
Yeah, and by the way, the one thing that John said that I disagree with is like, I was like, John said like, where there's no color, it's a lot of gray and brown. I'm like, dude, there's plenty of color, and I feel like the whole there's no color argument gets a little bit overblown personally for me, because the color needs to just match the vibe, like what you're filming. It's not everything is going to feel technicolor.
For me, that's a consistency thing for me. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I know a lot of people give like J.J. Abrams shit because he does, but it's consistency. That's how you leave your mark as the cinematographer, as a director. That's how you set the tone for the overall film. I mean, if every scene changed from one color to the next and one tone to the next, it wouldn't be cohesive. It wouldn't make sense altogether. It would frankly look really messy. So I don't have a problem with that necessarily, but I agree that the cinematography certainly sets the tone overall. And as of right now, from what we're seeing in the trailer, like, again, I mean, we talked about two different trailers today, right? So you've got the Daredevil Born Again season 1 trailer, very specific mood, very specific tone, very specific feel. Now we've got the new Harry Potter show where, from shot to shot, this is a completely different tone than Hagrid being in the train station, than Harry being in the train station, than Harry being at the Muggle. I have a feeling from what I've seen of the couple of shots and in the trailer itself, the Muggle world is going to feel very different from the Wizarding world. That's also what I'm thinking, because that's kind of what we're seeing in these shots. So whether or not I'm right, we'll see. Poor John, he lost internet. He will be back the moment he can get himself back on. But we're gonna
keep soldiering on. Yeah. I mean, like, we only got a slight glance of Malfoy. I feel like why am I forgetting the name of the actor who played the original Malfoy?
Tom Felton.
Tom Felton. I just think like the look of Tom Felton is very iconic. But like this version of Malfoy so far looks like oh, they just cast him for the Disney Plus remake of the show, kind of. But maybe he will grow on us, you know. It's and there are 820 pages in the first book, like Tony said. So having 8 hours to flesh it out with presumably the 8-episode run, that's a lot more runtime than the 2.5-hour movie that we did get before. So, yeah. I mean the Dumbledore look already looks pretty cool to me. That, like I said, the colors all match. The design in the background. Look at the doorway there in the back. That door looks pretty much the same as what we got in the movies. I mean, some of these sets are, you know, literally the ones that they've used in the movies that are still there, like Platform 9 3/4. It's still there. Professor McGonagall. I mean, you're never gonna replace the original actors, but you could get pretty gosh darn close. Plus, you got to remember they cast these so that they can work their way toward, you know, the 10 years that they're going to be doing this, like, you know, 7 books. So, and it's a big risk because you never know how some of these actors will age. So, yeah.
I just want to pop back. I'm just going back through. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the chat. I just want to go back through to Anthony Manzano had made a point to say, you know, is it easy to separate the art from the artist? Just because the artist is a piece of crap doesn't mean you can't enjoy the art. That's the struggle that's been, you know, tale as old as time. So is Michael Jackson a monster? Yes. Is Bill Cosby a monster? Yes. Is Chris Brown a monster? Yes. So, you know, there is R. Kelly. We can go on. I appreciate that. I will always love Michael Jackson's music for the rest of my life. Janet Jackson's one of my favorite artists of all time. Unfortunately, I mean, Nick Carter is still going through it right now with the Backstreet Boys. You guys, what you have to understand is when you continue to support these artists, you are still validating their bad behavior, because as we're seeing right now, particularly with the Epstein files, for example, when there are no consequences, or not any long-lasting consequences, when they're allowed to continue to create, when they're allowed to continue to profit off of these things, that's where, you know, the people that they have marginalized, the people that they have offended, that they have hurt, it's really, really hard. I mean, again, I appreciate the sentiment that you can appreciate one. I mean, listen, the majority of the male classic artists that we know, I mean, even Sean Connery we knew was an absolute piece of shit. John talks about it all the time. There are plenty of actors out there who are god-awful pieces of shit. I've met a couple of them at Comic-Con and regretted it later. It's always going to be a part of our world, unfortunately, but it's still important that we don't forget about it. I mean, I know that was brought up a lot. It passed away. Somebody said, how dare you bring up the fact that he had sexual assault allegations? You know, we're never going to be able to associate Tiger Woods without him cheating on his wife and that scandal and Bill Clinton and all. So you can't, because it's what they did. It's who they are as a person, who they were as a person at the time. But again, we do have to talk about it because it's important that we make it known. We appreciate that people were hurt. We appreciate that these people have essentially continued to walk through life without consequences. But we also need to recognize that, hey, while we do love the art, we don't love the artist, and we can't glaze over it, and we can't. Yeah,
no, but I think
it's just not right.
No, you're right about that. I think we all agree on that. And there's, you know, for me, I think then the other side, not the other side, but like another aspect to it, like Caleb was saying, I personally am somebody who is able to, on most occasions, separate the art from the artist and not discounting, you know, the person who, like in this case, J.K. Rowling, for example, and her views. But and I don't agree with her views. I don't condone those views. Those are not my views. I mean, pretty much every actor, from Nick Frost to John Lithgow to Papa Isiru and everybody else, all their statements have been the same.
And even the actors from the films as well. They have all come out. You know, Daniel, they have all come out and said they don't agree and they're disappointed. For sure.
But you know, at the same time, like Caleb was saying, and I was trying to make this point earlier, like the one bad person should not defy the legacy when there was a team of passionate, creative, and decent people behind that art. And I think the movies were the same, and this TV show is going to be the same. So on that level, I appreciate what we're seeing with the show.
Again, I think in this particular instance, it's one of the only times, with the exception of possibly Chris Brown, because he is still out making film music. This is the only instance where we have canceled someone and then come back and been like, oh no, we're going to keep giving you money, we're going to keep supporting your project.
But I mean, but Liz, but then like I think it's that thing of
no one's making TV shows with Bill Cosby anymore. You know what I mean?
No, I get it, but I get it. But like Liz, I think it's like those situations aren't the same.
That's why it's going to keep coming up. Is my point.
I get it, but again, it's like I think that now it's like a whole different argument of like it's not the same thing, and it's also sexual predator versus really very controversial opinions.
I don't want to get into the weeds about what's worse.
Yeah,
it's not even a matter of what's worse or it's
no. I get it, and I'm
lining pockets of an asshole.
But yes, exactly. But like it's
society. Do you think the CEO of McDonald's is a good guy? Do you think we're on YouTube? We're on. Those people aren't good people either. So
but again, we're getting back to this because this is we're like that. My whole thing is I don't want that narrative to dominate. Like there's so many people working on the show. Sure. J.K. Rowling's involvement has been as minimized as they possibly could outside of literally. They're not going to buy the franchise from her. So
it's also the Clerks Star Wars contractor argument too, right?
Yeah.
These people know who wrote these stories. They know who's producing this project, and they agreed to be a part of it. So that narrative is always going to be in the conversation, regardless of how you personally feel. You're also saying, not only am I going to attach myself to a production with this person and help them line their pockets, I'm going to line my pockets off of it as well. So it's a slippery slope, and some people have come back and said, no, I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I want nothing to do with it. Other people are like, I can look past it, which okay,
but again,
people are going to talk about.
Yeah, but again, like I said, I want to watch the show. I enjoyed the trailer. I thought there was plenty of color. The characters that I'm like, the J.K. Rowling thing is the last thing on my mind, because I'm like, they're not gonna if you're not gonna buy, like, what are you gonna do? Like, force her to sell the franchise to? She has no like she there's no way she's gonna do that. Or she's gonna ask for an unreasonably high price that one of us never want to take care of. So they've done the next best thing, which is fine.
We argued in the beginning when they were first talking about doing this, like, why so soon? So I think
but again,
it's like, well, she hasn't really been punished for being a piece of shit. Like, make it after she's long dead. Make it 50 years from now.
But Liz, like, okay, let's be honest. Like, here's the thing. The reality of the situation is it's Hollywood.
No, absolutely.
They remade, like, they cast a new Spider-Man while Andrew Garfield still had his contract, like, for 3 more movies. So it's Hollywood is it's a business. They're there to make money. And so I think it is what it is, and there's money to be made. And if that means you're gonna sign off, you're gonna send some royalty checks to J.K. Rowling along the way.
Right. No, just my point is, I don't want to be dismissive about it. That's my point.
I know, but like I feel like I'm just kind of a little disappointed because we went from like not being dismissive about it to that's become like the majority of our conversation, where I want to focus on the show itself, which is fine. But like the trailer, the fan reactions from bland to I cried 3 times, I think we have just kind of dissected this inside out, and in terms of just everybody has different reactions. I watched this and I had a big smile on my face. Some people cried watching this, and some people thought it was bland, like John was talking about. So it's not exactly been universally beloved, I think. But for a first trailer, it's certainly obviously stirred up a lot of conversation, which I think that's what they wanted to do. It's the biggest piece of news from the day today. So and there's a lot of Harry Potter fans out there who
I have returned
so many expectations for this. Oh, hey,
we're
John.
still talking about Harry Potter. Jesus Christ.
Yes,
it's my fault. I pulled a John.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, damn, I cut out. I ran down, tried to reset my modem, and then I got back upstairs. My dad got home. He's like, I'll reset it, which apparently worked. And then I went to go evacuate, and then came back, and we're still talking about Harry Potter. Goddamn.
Well, I mean, there's some moments in this trailer
when I cut out. I think I was talking about Papa Sidu versus Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was trying to say, but like, just like, hey, judge the performance. It's gonna be big shoes to fill. He'll probably be good. It's just Alan Rickman is Alan Rickman.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't help that Alan Rickman has passed away too, which adds to the whole like thing of it all. You know?
Alan Rickman's not gonna have any say. He can't pass the baton. He can't be like, I endorse Papa Sudu to do a great job. Like Daniel Radcliffe sent a letter to Dominic McLaughlin, good Scottish boy. Like he just with his blessings, and then of course Rupert Grint did the same for Alistair Stout, for Ron Weasley, which I think Rupert Grint
back a couple. Yeah, I want to see Ollivander. Okay, is it me? I'm trying not to sound mean, but is it me or does Ollivander look more like Professor McGonagall than
Professor McGonagall?
Than Professor McGonagall herself?
No, I thought the same too. I was like, what? That's a little, yeah. I was like, that looks off somewhat.
I'm sure the guy will do a good job. But like, I'm like, oh, is that not Professor McGonagall? Is that Ollivander? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, okay.
It's just, you know what? It's going to be hard to match the iconography of the original movie. This does definitely feel like the streaming TV show sanitized version in some ways. But again, I'm trying to avoid the comparisons because comparison is the enemy of joy.
You're never going to be able to get away from that.
I think I'm trying to like enjoy this for what it is, but I'm cautiously optimistic, and yet at the same time, I know it's gonna be hard for me to escape those comparisons. Like it's just intuitively somehow you're gonna make the comparison in your mind. But I mean, so far, I think for the first look at this is a great start. But yeah, Dominic McLaughlin, a wee Scottish lad.
Isn't it McLaughlin? I thought it was McLaughlin.
McLaughlin? Yeah. I'll say McLaughlin. I'm probably saying it wrong. And dude, there's enough color here. Dude, again, you're not gonna get everything in fucking Technicolor. It's not. That's just.
I want everything in Technicolor, Dan.
No, but dude, like none of the.
John,
have you seen the Harry Potter movies? Like I'm just saying, the majority of them don't have a ton of color, and it's not even like the halfway through. I think by the time you get to Prisoner of Azkaban, most of the colors left the building. So I'm just saying. But anyway, if you guys, if I were to ask you before we move forward, what is your level of anticipation for the show, having seen this trailer today? Liz, I'll start with you.
I'm looking forward to it. As I said, I think just like the films, as the subject matter gets darker, they're going to get darker. The tone is going to be darker. Remember, the first film was a Christmas classic. It's uplifting. It makes you feel good. You love these kids. They're adorable. I think that's what we're going to get from this season. We're going to just be very hopeful, and we're going to be filled with whimsy. We're going to love these kids. We're going to support these kids. And then shit's going to start to get really dark and heavy. So I'm here for it. I'll watch it. As shitty as J.K. Rowling is, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, and it's also like one of the things I think you guys have been pointing out in the chat, which you haven't talked about. They didn't really show any magic in this so far. But then again, like the magic use was fairly limited in the first couple of movies. Although the second movie, there's more. So like I think we'll get more of that as we go on, because again, they don't want to give away everything in just a teaser. But John, your opinion on this? Like, are you more or less excited about this now that you've seen this trailer?
I'm a little bit more excited, I will say, like, not by a ton. Again, I have the, feeling on the back of my neck and, the gigantic elephant in a room that's prohibiting me from really, loving this and what it could be. It just has that. And this isn't a simple separate the art from the artist, because I feel like it's more than that, because it's not just like, oh, one shitty person did one or two or multiple shitty things. It's like she has affected like society and like laws as a whole from her crap. So it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, it's not something I can ignore, especially when I'm, also friends with people who are feeling those same things, who are affected by the things she said in a societal context. So I hate to bring that in, but it's a very unfortunate reality that we have to live with. And the only thing, if you are trans out there, you're not alone. Don't let this one fucking cunt of a human being ruin your life because she can't see past whatever bullshit she has. But at the same time, if you are trans, don't attack the cast and crew. Don't attack the people that are just, doing a job and just trying to introduce this to a new generation. attack the people that greenlit it or the person themselves. Like, don't attack, like, don't send them like death threats or anything like that. I understand people are hurting because of what she has said and done,
Yeah.
but don't take that out on the like kids that are.
I mean, look,
part of this.
it's also that thing of like spread love, not hate. Like it's the whole idea of like turn the other cheek. Just because one person has those views that, you know, spread hatred, you don't have to do the same in return. You could choose to rise above it. And speaking of the release date, I think the biggest surprise coming out of this trailer is I was not expecting this Christmas 2026. So that put a big ass
specials, so
smile, big ass smile on my face. I mean, between Harry Potter, Avengers Doomsday, Dune Part 3, Jumanji, and whatever else we got going on, this Christmas time, this holiday season is gonna be a banger from TV to movies, and we are gonna be here for it. So yeah, you guys let us know in the comments down below, what do you think about the Harry Potter trailer? You know, and of course you can, you know, tell us about your opinions, of course, where you stand on the J.K. Rowling aspect of it, whether you know, you're like, okay, it is what it is, or you're just not going to be watching the show simply because it is, you know, something that she is still involved in. Or tell us, you know, what would, like, did you have goosebumps like I did when I was watching this, and then it just kind of brought you back to your childhood, or are you looking forward to, you know, introducing this to maybe your kids? So let us know in the comments. But of course, right now we're going to move on to some other TV talk. Let's talk about the curious case of Casey Bloys. And of course, if you guys are wondering who, well, let me introduce you to Casey Bloys, who Casey Bloys, of course, is the head of HBO. He's been with HBO for almost 2 decades. He's been basically the head of HBO since about 2016, currently the president of Home Box Office, as it's known, the chairman, CEO of HBO. And as part of that, he's got a pretty impressive resume. White Lotus, Succession, just since 2016 alone, Euphoria, The Last of Us, you know, House of the Dragon, The Watchmen show. All of these things have been created under him. I mean, The Penguin, all Casey Bloys. Now, Casey Bloys, before we even get to the you know, what's been going on recently, I'm gonna set the table for you guys, and you guys, I think there's some like juicy stuff in here. So, once upon a time, back in the day, all the way in the early 2000s, Netflix hired Cindy Holland to be their Casey Bloys, basically, like their, you know, head of content, of TV production. And you know, she did an amazing job, because Cindy Holland, as the VP of original content for Netflix from 2002 to 2020, helped launch things like the House of Cards, Ozark, Orange is the New Black, The Crown, Stranger Things was greenlit under her watch, BoJack Horseman. There's so many other things. I mean, even, you know, Emily in Paris. A lot of these shows were all under her leadership. Now, you know, not to, you know, basically about a couple of decades into her reign at Netflix, Ted Sarandos brought in Bella Bajaria as well. And she came in and then started, you know, to kind of add on to things. And then in 2020, she took over Cindy Holland's job. And Cindy Holland was basically shuffled out of Netflix. And I mean, Bella has overseen Squid Game and Bridgerton, you know, bringing over Shonda Rhimes, Wednesday, Stranger Things, you know, seeing the continuation and ultimate finale of that, The Queen's Gambit, Lupin, you know, all of these things that, you know, La Casa de Papel, which, you know, the Spanish name of that show, of course, Kingdom. I mean, there's also Hira Mandi, which is an Indian show. So Bella is now the Casey Bloys. I'm just using Casey Bloys as like the default here. She is that for Netflix right now. Good resumes all around. That's Bella. So Bella's over at Netflix. Then Cindy got kicked out of Netflix in 2020. But then last year, once David Ellison, John, walked in the door at Paramount, David Ellison hired Cindy Holland to become the chief of content, basically the head of all of streaming programming. So Cindy Holland is basically leading the way at Paramount Plus as well as Pluto TV. So she's become the Casey Bloys of Paramount. Now, see, what I'm trying to get at is eventually there's only going to be, you know, there's only room for one Casey Bloys, because currently Casey Bloys is the head of HBO. His contract runs out next year in 2027. And Netflix was going to buy, you know, Warner Brothers. And so then you would have had the question of, I think Netflix wanted to keep HBO its own thing, so the presumption was they were going to keep Casey Bloys, independent, with HBO sort of doing their thing, and Bella Bajaria was going to do the Netflix thing. But that's not happening anymore. Paramount is buying Warner Brothers. Paramount has the former, Casey Bloys of Netflix, Cindy Holland. So the question becomes, right now, Casey Bloys reports directly to David Zaslav. The new David Zaslav in the Paramount Warner Brothers combined company will be David Ellison. So do you think Casey Bloys is going to end up like reporting into Cindy Holland into David Ellison, or is it going to be separate? Because can you have two people doing the same job essentially of that streaming programming? That has been the big question, and Casey Bloys has been pretty coy recently about contract negotiations. I mean, he did say recently in an interview that David Ellison has reached out to him and made it known to him that he thinks very highly of Casey Bloys and the job that he's doing at HBO. Much like what, Ted Sarandos had done when they signed that deal that went nowhere ultimately. So Casey Bloys has had good omens from both his, would-be new bosses. But John, recently Ted Sarandos was seen lunching with HBO CEO's Casey Bloys, which has sparked a lot of speculation. And they went to this very public restaurant. Seen in a very public, Hollywood restaurant. I believe the name of the restaurant is in this article. And this it's not something where it's called Superba, and it's not a restaurant where you would go if you didn't want to be publicly seen having lunch with, in this case, Ted Sarandos. So sources tell Page Six Hollywood that Sarandos and Bloys weren't exactly trying to be discreet, given that Superba is one of the most frequented eateries by the Netflix executive set. There are plenty of other options if you're trying to blend into the woodwork, like a Chipotle in Eagle Rock, but perhaps being visible was the point. So I just set the table. Casey Bloys' contract runs out next year with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, by that point, would presumably be under the Paramount umbrella. And there's been the question of, will Casey Bloys renew his contract? Will he continue on as the chief of HBO? There's the question of, will HBO be its own thing under the new company? Because David Ellison has said he's going to merge the two streaming services between Paramount and HBO Max. And yet he said Casey Bloys and HBO are very important. They want to keep them independent and let them keep doing their thing. So all of that said, I get the feeling that this whole public lunch situation is Ted Sarandos being like, Casey, I would have loved to work with you. Maybe I want to bring you over, but then Casey's like, but you have Bella doing that job. And ultimately, between Bella and Cindy, only one came out on top. I don't want to end up in that situation because that would put a ticking clock on one of our times at Netflix. Like, what do you got for me? So maybe Ted Sarandos is like, well, how can I help you? I would love to, help make your life a little bit better. He's like, maybe, go to lunch with me. We'll go to Superba. And maybe, we'll find a way to put some pressure on David Ellison. It looks like my contract needs to be re-upped next year. And maybe we'll make him think that, Netflix wants me. And maybe Netflix does want me. And I don't know, Ted. What do you got? What kind of money can you put on that offer? Make it count. Maybe I'm happy to come over. But at the very least, we'll, put some pressure on Ellison to see, hey, maybe if Casey Bloys walks out the door, that'd be a pretty big, loss, like almost right out the gates for Paramount. So yeah, I mean, all of these big, heavy, executives in Hollywood, the headlines are already out there. Netflix outmaneuvers Paramount by courting HBO chief Casey Bloys very publicly in Hollywood. But John, then Casey Bloys did an interview just recently about during the HBO Max launch in the UK, and he weighed in on his meeting with Netflix's Ted Sarandos, which was definitely one of the big questions brought up, and I just want to get to that real quick here. Because it was very interesting. He said, you also had lunch with Ted Sarandos last week, and he was like, I had lunch with lots of people. Before that question, he was like, hey, so, is it a big priority for you to get a new contract? And then did David Ellison reach out to you? And Casey Bloys was like, yes, absolutely, he reached out. I've had lunch with him. He's also is a big fan of HBO, so obviously I can't get too much into those conversations. It was a very nice lunch, and he had a lot of great things to say about not just HBO but the entire team. But then when the Ted Sarandos question was brought up, he was like, I have lunch with lots of people. And then the natural question would be, are you gonna stay at HBO post acquisition?
And he's like,
and Casey Bloys,
so far ahead,
very coy. He's like, we're in the process. He's like, legally, I can't talk about this. I'm going to go back to my lunch with David Ellison and the nice things he said about HBO and the team and all that.
And then I'm
to
go
get
suck
closer.
Ted off in the bathroom.
But he was like, unfortunately, I mean, it's actually legal things you can and cannot discuss, which I totally get. But John, where there is smoke, there's fire. So my question to you would be, is Casey Bloys making it very publicly known that he, might be looking for new employers at the end of his contract with Warner Brothers next year? What do you think? Do you think he'll be leaving?
That wouldn't shock me, because it's like, what does Casey Bloys have that he can't get at Netflix? Maybe a better contract and all that stuff, because at least with like James Gunn and Peter Safran, that's very specific to Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
They have the rights to DC and they want to do DC work.
But I mean, then again, HBO
I feel like they would be more
HBO,
likely to stay. Meanwhile, Casey Bloys is like, okay, I have no attachment. This is just a job to me, and I can create good programming in Netflix, which Netflix desperately fucking needs. So he's like, I could just do that there. So I feel like in terms, because I know people have been mentioning James Gunn and Peter Safran a lot because their contract comes up next spring. So we'll see where that goes. But it's just Casey Bloys has less to lose when it comes to jumping ship. So I think he would most definitely do that and be like, you know what? Maybe he's like, you know what? I see this as a sinking ship, which it kind of is. I'm going to just head off now.
Yeah. Are you just going to sit here? Yeah? You want to say hi? Look. You're looking at me. Look this way. No? Okay. Well, there you go. We have a cat, everybody. A cat.
As long as it's the cat, not the cat butthole, then we should.
Well, I'm trying to prevent that, but anyway, yeah, this is negotiating in the public. Essentially, he's like putting the pressure on David Ellison, like, hey, man, like, and MTG was saying, Casey Bloys is making a power play here. I don't know how David Ellison will react to this. And Ted Sarandos, seemingly, he's very happy to poke the bear at this point, because on the outside looking in. But also, as part of this interview, by the way, I did want to bring up Casey Bloys talking about, he mentioned the DCU strategy, because one of the questions he was asked was like, hey, what about how you guys have been very deliberate about not giving us like a ton of different DCU shows all at once, whereas the MCU, the proliferation of MCU content on Disney Plus was very different early on, and now they're sort of scaling it back or changing track. And Casey Bloys was like that. We're always very deliberate with what we do, even like with the Game of Thrones spinoffs. He likes to remind people there's only been two. There's the House of the Dragon and then the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. They might have developed a lot of them, but most of them don't actually see the light of day. And that's something that I think a lot of people, he said, which is true. We talk about it on the show all the time. There's plenty of news about things that are in development, but there's far fewer ones that actually get turned into shows that we get to watch. The Penguin is like the only one, aside from Peacemaker, that's been on HBO. That was an HBO show, not an HBO Max thing. So Lanterns becomes like the second one now. So and he kind of wanted to point that out because they're being very deliberate about it, and the bar still remains very, very high. So yeah, I appreciate, again, Casey Bloys I think has all the right philosophies of how he goes about things, and I think this is where you got to keep him around, because like he even talking about like Colin Farrell returning for a second season of The Penguin, he was like, look, he's got a lot of things going on and it's complicated, we want to figure it out, but he's just not sure about it, and he's not really committing to those things. We talked about that a little bit the other day, John, but this is something I didn't mention the other day, because one of the questions Casey was asked was about the Viola Davis's Waller spinoff. And the question was, does it look like it might go into production? And Casey Bloys in his response said, put it this way, I wouldn't say it's on the runway, but Lanterns is coming up this summer. So, John, your thoughts on this? Because Casey Bloys is saying it's not on the runway, and to me that kind of spells trouble for the Waller spinoff, because We thought that it was farther along. At least that's what James Gunn maybe led us to believe, that they were reworking it. But if it's not even on the runway, John, I mean, are we ever getting a Waller show?
Probably
Or
not.
like is it dead in the water? Or at least in development hell?
I think maybe
Yeah.
like a lot of those elements that were going to be used for Waller are probably going to be
Yeah.
used for other projects now, and it's just like, yeah, I mean, why? Like, who cares about Amanda Waller? Like, I mean, I don't really care. Like, the thing, out of all the shows that we would be getting, that were announced, it was Creature Commandos, Booster Gold, Waller, Lanterns,
Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost. Out of all of them, Waller would be my least favorite. That's the one I care about the least. So it's like, if that's gone, then I don't really care. I more so care about the Booster Gold out of the ones that have not been greenlit, that are not coming out. Booster Gold will be the one I care about the most. So I would want that to come out. But everything else is kind of like whatever. But Waller, like, eh. I like Viola Davis, but like, eh.
Well, she's also doing a bunch of different things. I think she just her production banner is really busy as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's not moving forward with more of that show essentially. Hi D Cole. But the other questions that Casey Bloys was asked in that interview, talking about Euphoria spinoffs, and he was like, no. The creator of the show, Sam Levinson, is right now currently focused on season 3, and eventually he'll get around to some other things, but he likes to stay laser focused on that right now, trying to get that delivered by the time it comes out, which is not too long from now actually. And then White Lotus season 4 has just has started shooting, or he was asked whether it started shooting, and he said no, not yet. They are deep into prep, so it will start filming soon. So the White Lotus season 4 not quite out the gates yet in terms of production. And then he was asked about Jesse Armstrong, who was the creator of Succession, and then of course he mentioned, look, he did his directorial debut with Mountainhead, which I think we talked about on the show a while ago. It came out last year, but there's not anything imminent in the pipeline from Jesse. It looks like he's taking some time to kind of regroup, according to Casey Bloys, and Casey Bloys is pretty confident that he will come to us, as an HBO when the time is right for anything else he wants to do. So, and then again, I think the one other thing which to me was good to read this whole interview in Variety. You guys are welcome to check this out for yourself. Kind of get in the mind of how Casey Bloys operates, which I think is a testament to how HBO has continued on to be the gold standard of television under his leadership. He talked about how, like, a lot of TV, like he was asked, like, do TV, some people say TV shows, like, it takes a while to get, really hit their rhythm. And then in today's world, people don't have the patience to let a TV show really hit its stride. Like Succession was an example that they used, like episode 4, things really clicked. And Casey was like, look, a lot of shows, everything is there. It's just people don't really notice or get, and with the program, with the rhythm of the show until a certain point. But at the same time, there are occasions where some shows do take a little while to really, get into gear, and you just gotta stick with it. And I think ultimately what he emphasized was, like, HBO's philosophy isn't about, oh, this show is not, is not doing it, terribly well in ratings, we'll just cancel it right away. They look into, their measurement, the bar for what they call a successful show goes beyond that. And, they'll give a show some time to breathe, because sometimes, it takes a while for a show to catch up to its audiences, or for the audiences to catch up to the show. But he also addressed, like, pragmatically speaking, sometimes the marketplace will drive your decision making. I mean, obviously, if a show is just shitting the bed for the entirety of its first season, chances are you're not going to get a second. But it's a nuanced argument, and Casey Bloys ultimately said the beauty of television is you have the ability to evolve and change and turn into something. And I think, again, to me, it's a testament to the mentality of Casey Bloys, how he approaches TV production, and how to make good television. It's all the things that make HBO as great and make HBO what it is. So
Make
I really
HBO
appreciate
great again.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate Casey Bloys, being at the head of that snake, because it's HBO is still the gold standard of TV, and that's why I would love for him to stick around. But having lunch in the public eye with Ted Sarandos while your contract is up in a year is almost like, if LeBron James went out with with Pat Riley on a lunch date a year before he took his talent to South Beach. The NBA would be like doing the whole, but what's the thing? It's tampering. There would be tampering fines being handed out. So there's no such thing here. But rest assured, I think David Ellison would also like for Casey Bloys to stick around. It's just a matter of like this now puts the ball firmly in the court of David Ellison, because there was this not speculation, but there was talk about how David Ellison didn't really reach out to all the big executives at Warner Brothers for a few days after the announcement that they were buying Warner Brothers. That all became official. So a lot of those executives, not David Zaslav and his senior leadership team, but like Casey Bloys, James Gunn, Peter Safran, and I'm forgetting the Channing Dungey, the TV head. They were all, or like Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi. They didn't really get that first contact from David Ellison until almost a week after they announced that Paramount won the bidding war. So Casey Bloys, I think, is just kind of, hedging his bets right now. Like having a good working relationship with Ted Sarandos could lead to good things in a year's time if he does end up walking away from Paramount. Like I certainly think that at the very least he's just hedging his bets. But anyway, let's keep moving on here, because that's all the TV talk we got for now. We did talk about Harry Potter already, D. Cole, and we also talked about Daredevil Born Again season 2. We did the episode 1 review, so do be kind and rewind if you want to check those out, because right now we're moving on from TV talk to some movie talk madness. And John, this one here, I'll let you take the take the lead, because I think you've got this one all covered. Stephen Colbert is apparently writing a new Lord of the Rings movie that's going to take place like over a decade after the original trilogy, and been working on it with his own son. It's the second movie that goes into development right now, alongside The Hunt for Gollum. And Peter Jackson was part of the co-announcement. Your thoughts on this, John?
Okay.
Here we go.
So people are saying that Harry Potter, the show, is an unnecessary cash grab, dog shit thing. And it's just like, this exists too now. Like, so you're going to go out of your limb and say, all right, Harry Potter, it sucks because it's a cash grab. It's all that shit. Yet, a late night talk show host is writing a future Lord of the Rings movie. Like, okay, so first off, I do feel bad that his show is getting canceled because of pretty much most likely his political views, which is dog shit. 100% agree with that. And I know people in the comments, oh, but he's a Lord of the Rings fan. That doesn't excuse the fact that this fucking idea is the dumbest thing I have read in a while. Like, I don't give a fuck how big of a fan Stephen Colbert is. Doing this and doing this specific, like Hunt for Gollum, I'm like, okay, that's kind of dumb, but like, sure, why not? Literally making this exist is actively ruining the idea. It's pretty much just shitting on J.R.R. Tolkien's grave. It's like that's what you're doing right now. Is like, you are usurping one of the greatest trilogies ever made, arguably the greatest trilogy ever made. You are just taking it and just going like this to it. Just taking it right here, putting it in the garbage. Putting it in the garbage. That is what you're doing. I don't care how much Lord of the Rings cock Stephen Colbert has sucked over the course of his fucking career. You should know as a fan to say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do this, because that would besmirch the great thing that I love so much. For instance, because we were just talking about it earlier, what's my favorite movie of all time? The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. If somebody, whoever owns the rights, comes up and is like, hey, John, we want to do a sequel to The Thing. We want you to direct and write it. I'd say go fuck yourself, because The Thing doesn't need a sequel, and it would actively ruin the point of the first fucking movie. Why? Because I, as a fan, knows with common sense and intelligence that, you know what, I love the story. Would I like to see more? Maybe. But I know as a fan, you know what, I shouldn't, because it's ruining the thing that I love. And that is exactly what Stephen Colbert is doing. He's a fan, sure, but he's not a smart enough fan to realize, you know what, maybe the thing just because you could doesn't mean you should, in the words of Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park. So, it's just, I hate this headline. I hate every aspect of this existence.
Well, John, there is the other headline. If you switch over,
disagree. If I could get in at all,
just this once, please shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Like, no, just stop talking. Just stop talking. I'm ready.
I mean, if I could get in here, I hate
every aspect of this.
I completely disagree. He's a writer first. The fact that he's a talk show host now should not factor into this whatsoever. We let Peter Jackson do his thing. A lot of people had opinions about that, especially considering that they combined the Silmarillion with the Lord of the Rings. Like, the White Orc was not any part of the actual Lord of the Rings. They changed, like, Liv Tyler's character. They gave her way more substance in the films than she originally was in the book. So you're always going to have some criticism one way or the other about beloved stories. It's the exact same. My feeling when I read this was, oh no, it's going to be the exact same thing that Henry Cavill is going to eventually go through when Highlander comes out. And when Warhammer comes out, is that this is a fan who's really passionate, who understands the story, who understands all of the subtext, the other stories that are not popular, that are not mainstream, that only hardcore Lord of the Rings fans would know. And people are going to come in and shit on him because they're only going to take from the original films. They're only going to take from the mainstream popular stories and not the side stories, not the additional stories.
This
not
isn't even based on the Silmarillion.
Yes, it is.
The other stories,
no,
though.
He is. If you actually read the article, he is actually focusing on the first 6 chapters of the book, which really weren't showcased in the films. So that's absolutely not. So again, this is my problem with you shitting on him because it's a fan doing something. It's a fan that is so far embedded into the world of Lord of the Rings. He knows more than Peter Jackson will ever know. He knows more than you or I will ever know about the Lord of the Rings. I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with the fact that he is going to be shit on like he is being shit on right now by you, John, because he has a vision. Somebody recognized that he cared passionately about it and wanted to facilitate that in some way. I don't think anybody would follow through with this if he didn't have a good idea. Like, somebody joked that, oh, Jimmy Kimmel is going to come out with the next Star Wars. I don't think they would even consider developing this and partnering with Steven if he didn't have a good idea, if he didn't have a solid vision, if he didn't have his convictions behind it. Just the fact that, yes, he now doesn't have his late night gig. I don't think one is really connected to the other, quite frankly. I think this was inevitable. Once people realized how deep-seated his love for these stories were, and that he was the ultimate fan, and that he can out Lord of the Rings any Lord of the Rings actor, collaborator, writer, other, super fan. He is the geek of all geeks. He should be on the highest of pedestals for how fucking embedded he is into the Lord of the Rings lore, culture, books, again, additional subs. I mean, I have some friends that are so hardcore, they know the names of all the fucking music to the soundtrack that there's no lyrics, there's no... That, again, we don't know. But you guys seem to forget the fact he was a writer first. Just like Jimmy Kimmel was a writer first. Just like Conan was a writer first. He was a writer first. But you're assuming that he's a bad writer because all you know of his work is sketch comedy.
I know of his
and
work.
that's not
I know
fair.
of his work. But just because he's a fan
again,
doesn't mean he'll make a good movie. Like, that's the whole thing.
We don't know that anybody who tries to do anything could fucking fail. But the fact that you're already telling him calling him a piece of shit and how fucking dare you, and it's a cash grab and blah, 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 blah. Listen, they wouldn't give it to him if he didn't have a vision, like just like with Peter Jackson, everybody was furious that Peter Jackson, how dare you? It's going to be awful. It's going to be terrible. You don't know what you're doing. And even when the films came out, as Figure Drawing said, yes, they were a cinematic marvel. They changed the game, but still people criticized him, just like we're going to criticize the Harry Potter show. There's always going to be critics. But the fact that we're immediately like, oh, go fuck yourself. Listen, he's not Jeff Bezos taking over James Bond. You know what I'm like? It's a completely different context. This is a completely different situation. I'm going to save my judgment until the thing comes out. But at the end of the day, I recognize Stephen Colbert knows a fuck ton more about the Lord of the Rings than I will ever want to know. I mean, he probably dreams in Elvish, for fuck's sakes, bless his heart. So you know what? Let the man have it. Give it a shot. Maybe we'll learn something. Or you can just go ahead and bury your head in the sand and not watch it like all the other things you don't.
I swore off.
But I'm not going to shoot on the man for it. I'm really not. I'm really not.
Off Lord of the Rings.
It's really nice to see a fan who is a true fan get a chance to provide for the fans, which again, we're rooting for Henry Cavill, but we know he's going to be fucking in it when those projects come out. So you know what? Let Stephen Colbert have his shot too. Why not? I don't give a shit. I'm totally fine with it. He knows he can probably teach Tolkien some things, for Christ's sake, at this point. The dude is so far embedded into it. He's like, what I had an English teacher in school. He could quote any piece of Shakespeare, kind of like Dame Judi Dench. Can quote any piece of Shakespeare from any play. Stephen is the same with Lord of the Rings. So you know what? Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead. And God bless. Go. You know,
I don't hate Stephen Colbert. I
know you don't hate Stephen Colbert, but I'm just saying how you just because you wouldn't want to do it yourself. Again, I don't even know that this was something that he came up with. I think someone probably Peter Jackson. They probably came to him and said, "Hey, is there anything that we missed? Was there anything that you wish has been created that hasn't been yet?" And he's like, "Actually, this is something that keeps me up at night." Who knows how it all came about, but I'm willing to give him a shot because I know he can out Lord of the Rings any of us. So let him have it.
Yeah, and look, Peter Jackson's involved with this, and Peter Jackson was part of the announcement. And I am more in agreement with Liz on the idea. I'm going to reserve my judgment until the movie comes out. It's a bad movie. It's a bad movie. We move on to the next thing.
If it's bad, it's bad. Sure.
I'm just going to go back to the Hollywood Reporter article and read out the one of the paragraphs. Stephen Colbert has been tapped to pen a new Lord of the Rings movie alongside Philippa Boyens and Peter McGee, which will be the second of the two upcoming films in the blockbuster franchise. Colbert joined Peter Jackson to announce the news on social media Tuesday night, which is where, of course, I talked about, Colbert himself. He said, the thing I found myself reading over and over again were the six chapters early on in the Fellowship of the Ring that y'all never developed into the first movie back in the day. Colbert said in the video is basically chapters 3 is company through Fog on the Barrow Downs. And I thought, oh wait, maybe that could be its own story that could fit into the larger story. Could we make something that was completely faithful to the books while also being completely faithful to the movies that you guys had already made? So then he started reworking the idea with his son Peter. I mean, again, he's a lifelong Tolkien devotee. And then, they added that the team at Warner Brothers, including Pam Abdi, Mike DeLuca, like you guys were saying in the chat, also loved it. So it's got a working title, Lord of the Rings Shadows of the Past. It will come after Lord of the Rings Hunt for Gollum, which is currently in development. Of course, Andy Serkis is working on it. Colbert will work with Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Boyens, the Oscar-winning trio who, of course, brought us the original trilogy of Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbit trilogy, of course, to life. And yeah, I think as far as the timeline of this movie goes, it's set 14 years after the passing of Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, set out to retrace the first steps of their adventure. Meanwhile, Sam's daughter Eleanor has discovered a long-buried secret and is determined to uncover why the War of the Ring was very nearly lost before it ever began. So, I mean, look, yes, he's been known for The Late Show. He's, before that on other things, and the show comes to an end on May 21st. Ana Nogueira just wrote the script for Supergirl. and she never had done a feature film, script before, and James Gunn put their, his trust in her to do that, and now we were getting a Supergirl movie, which, despite some mixed reactions to the trailer, we still all have high hopes for it. So, yeah, I mean, look, just because you haven't done it before doesn't mean you can't do a great job, especially if you're a big fan. I'm going to point to Stargate as an example. I always have had a dream of, I'm going to make the next Stargate show. Stargate was on the shelf for like 14 years, and it's now coming back. Martin Jarrow is the showrunner. His first writing gig in the business was working on, Stargate SG-1 and later on Atlantis. And he was like a junior writer in the writer's room. And now he's show running. He's done a bunch of other stuff since, and he'll be show running the next Stargate show. And then sometimes, like, the best stuff that you get, the best, remakes or future iterations of a franchise are from the fans of the franchise. That's what makes me really hopeful for Ryan Coogler's X-Files, even though it'll be a bit of a reimagining in some ways, and it's not going to try to rewrite the rules, but it will do something hopefully innovative, so.
But that's just it. So this is not a reimagining. This is not a fan fiction. He's still taking directly from the books. He's not veering off and doing, Dune 10,000 years before the story and just coming up with his own what if scenario. Oh, this is the vision that I had for it. This is what I would do if I wrote it. He's not doing any of that. He's saying, no, these chapters are interesting to me, and it's not anything that's been put out in the films yet. It's not a part of the story that's ever been discussed in a cinematic way or even on a TV show. And again, he's not taking something that already exists and then putting his twist on it. He's saying, yeah, we just haven't looked at this part of the story. There are so many other offshoots and like this Hunt for Gollum or whatever the shit it's going to be called. Does that have anything to do with the original stories? I don't think it does. It's a bizarre thing for me. Why would that, to me, that's a cash grab. But going in and saying, oh, this is a part of the story that hasn't been told, which again, they're doing with the Harry Potter franchise right now. All the things that we were missing from them in the films, we're now going to be getting on the TV show. So I don't have a problem with it. I'm willing to give the guy his shot, because if anyone's gonna hit it out of the park, I would assume it's gonna be him.
Yeah, and also it seems like the way they're talking about it, the story is gonna maybe jump back and forth between the past and then whatever's happening in the present day. So it's going to be a little bit of that, it seems like, based on how they're talking about it. But yes, it is based on what's in the Tolkien books. And then The Hunt for Gollum is currently set for 2027. This new movie, what's tentatively titled Shadows of the Past, we don't actually have a release date attached to it, or a year window. We don't have that yet. And you know what, Figure Drawing, one day we will, I will try to get both cats. I mean, Liz has cats. I don't know if they will ever be popping over on screen, but oh, we got one back there. Oh, you know what? Where's mine?
Yeah, and the other one's around.
Her. She kind of hides in the background there. Is it a she or a he?
This is Sailor. This is a she.
Oh boy. So
and then Oliver's upstairs somewhere. So
yeah. Exactly. No, but I mean, I'm interested. Look, if you're a fan of Middle Earth, then Tolkien reading days when they announced this. I mean, it's I'm sure for the fans this was a great announcement to hear that there's not just one but two Lord of the Rings movies in the works. So so the Watcher saying it's set in the Fourth Age, but Eleanor is telling the story of Pippin and Sam and Merry with Frodo before they made it to Bree. Exactly.
And so I mean, I did not watch the Lord of the Rings TV show. I don't know if it's true to the story, if it's something that somebody created, but for me it didn't. I was not interested in it. Same thing with the latest Game of Thrones spinoff. All of that stuff. If it's not true to the original story, and again, I'm not a super fan like that. I haven't read all of the books, so maybe I'm speaking from a place of ignorance. But at least this I have a little more interest in, because I know it is coming directly from the text. So
yeah, and then to kind of clarify, because I think Tony was confused, the Hunt for Gollum movie is the Andy Serkis film that's been in the works for a while. This new one is tentatively called Shadows of the Past. So 2 different movies, 2 different sets of stories.
And again, if I feel like the Hunt for Gollum one, like I said, don't quote me. I haven't read any of the books. Like it's, if anything, that's the one to me that sounds more like a cash grab, that they're just giving it to Andy Serkis. Because, oh, we're so successful with you and you're such a great actor and you can get whatever you want. You were the AD on the films with Peter. So like, to me, that's the one that I would be like, fuck you. That sounds ridiculous. Okay, that's clearly the cash grab here. Whereas this is just a fan being like, hey, we haven't delved into this part of the original story. So, I mean, no matter what, at the end of the day, everything's a fucking cash grab. You want every part of to be successful. I mean, we want this successful, for Christ's sake. So, you know. Yeah,
you know how they say no movie ever made needed to exist, but, you know, they all do because it's part of, like, you know, how we express ourselves as humanity. So, but yeah, like you said, I think the Hunt for Gollum, if anything, is the one that feels more like a cash grab, because like this
is saying it's directly from the appendices, and it's an Aragorn story. Yeah, and I did know that they had cast a different guy for Aragorn already. So okay, so thank you for clarifying
that. I knew about. Okay, but thank you. Yes.
Okay, so good. I mean, again, still a cash grab. There are other more original. There are other books out there.
Well, at a more philosophical level.
There are plenty of other things. People, if we could get an original idea from someone someday soon, like Project Hail Mary, for example, would be great. But so, you know, hey, like, take that money, babe. At this point, fuck it. I don't like fucking. They're still making Expendables movies. You know what I mean? So
no, whatever. You're right. Yeah.
Whatever. Go ahead.
I ran into, by the way, we're just gonna sidebar for a second while John comes back, but I came across like a Chuck Norris compilation the other day, and it's just anytime you run into one of those, like those little tier list things that do, like a listicle video of all the times, like, you know, Chuck Norris said something crazy, you know, because he was in one of the Expendables movies, and he's like, you know, didn't you get like bitten by a cobra or something, or like a python? He was like, yeah. And after 4 excruciating days, the python finally gave up and died. And then he just says it with a straight face. And then they show the reaction, like Terry Crews and like what was the UFC legend? What am I forgetting? They like look at each other like, huh. And like, you know, Sly Stone's like, you know, these death stares, like it's, and then all the comments that of course are all about, like, you know, Chuck Norris isms, I like to call the Chuck Norris isms. It's great. It's like, you know, Chuck Norris didn't die. Death finally got up the courage to come and ask, like, Chuck, are you ready? It's like, it's just great stuff like that. So was it a rattlesnake? It might have been a rattlesnake. I forget which one of those. It looked like an earlier Expendables movie because Sly Stone.
Yeah, no, it was one of the. I think I want to say it was the second one. I don't think it was the first. It was the second one.
Yeah, but like the Watcher was saying, there's a lot of pockets of storytelling that they can still explore, and then, you know, Rings of Power actually season 2 was much better than season 1. Season 1 was a bit of a slog, and then if you were a fan of the books, then it really, you know, kind of came unglued after a while. But season 2 was a big improvement. So
well, I mean,
yeah,
you
there's
guys
a lot
know
of stuff to cut.
The TV shows, it's just too hard anyway. So there's just so much out there. I'll tell you what. Bless you, John.
Yeah.
So
sorry,
hey,
I've been having stomach problems. So sorry, I keep using
it's all good.
I'm so sorry, guys.
It's all good, John. We were just waiting to.
Sick, John, just makes you sick.
Well, it's now time for the quickest,
shit
John.
I just took is gonna be better than the Stephen Colbert Lord of the Rings movie. No, I mean, it could be the greatest thing ever. I don't know. I just, after that first Hobbit movie, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna watch this anymore.
And you're allowed. You're allowed.
On that note, time for the quickest.
Hey, if it's the greatest thing ever, I'll go and see it. So, anyway, speaking of unnecessary remakes, Murder, She Wrote movie with Jamie Lee Curtis sets 2027 holiday release. I mean,
I will say I'm glad they're making it a movie and not trying to revamp the franchise. That I'm okay
like
with.
just like Weekend at Bernie's, like Angela Lansbury's corpse, and like try to make a continuation. I'm glad. I will say
I love Murder, She Wrote. I watched the entire show from beginning to end during COVID. I'm obsessed with Murder, She Wrote.
I think my sister did the same thing. I think she watched it during COVID. I remember her watching. I don't know if it was pre-COVID or during COVID, but I remember her saying, she's like, "Oh my god, I watched the entire series."
Yeah. Fun fact. Yeah. And Kate Mulgrew was in it 5 times. Played 5 different characters every time, but she looked identical in every episode. It was like, all right.
Hey, you know what? I remember seeing young Neil Patrick Harris. Like I remember seeing a clip of him in it too. But yeah,
it had a lot of people on that show. Yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody was in. Well, because the thing is, and a lot of veterans, because Angela Lansbury was a proponent for older stars because they hadn't worked in a while, so to keep their I think their SAG cards active, she put them in the show. So
yeah,
I can't wait for this. I'm excited. I want to see it. Give it to me now.
Sure, why not? Jamie Lee.
Come on, it's Jamie Lee Curtis. Is it just me? I'm still weirdly attracted to her. Like she's like.
Oh,
anyway.
All right, dropping that bomb. Okay, sure.
Go ahead. Let's keep going.
You got Matlock. Let's get Columbo out here. Why not?
You know, like it's I've watched the James Cameron movie recently. Anyway, that's probably what's driving that. But let's keep going.
Andy Muschietti on It Supercut plans were. Yeah, motherfucker, you promised a goddamn director's cut of the first movie in 2018. I'll believe it when I see it. You also promised us a good Flash movie, and look how that turned out.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Muschietti siblings. I think we're talking about. We're still gonna do it. It's just a matter of they've got other things that are more important, like season 2 of Welcome to Derry. So
I'm sleeping.
Yeah, they're gonna do it. Supercut. So if you guys have been waiting for it, it's still gonna happen.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, that's also true.
The Furious, not the Fast and the Furious, but the Furious.
And Diesel's gonna be pissed.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, you didn't.
The only title he hasn't used yet.
Dude, you watch this trailer? There's literally a moment like 2 minutes into the trailer where the dude takes a sledgehammer and knocks, and it's not like they fake it like in wrestling or anything. He literally knocks the guy in the side of the head, and you see the whole shot. I'm like, obviously they didn't actually kill a dude in the movie, but this movie, I was like, oh, like I had some very visceral reactions watching this. It's like Mortal Kombat taken to like its rated R extreme, and I love it. It's like to save the ones they love, they will fight, and then the next screen says everyone, and I'm like, oh baby, give it to me now. This is I'm gonna have so much fun with this movie. I did not think it would be such a fun trailer. Yeah. This is fun. You guys should go watch this trailer if you haven't already. It's very, very rated R.
But next thing, Old Boy Scribes Disney Plus crime thriller Goldland sets April premiere. It depends which Old Boy, because if it's the good one, sure.
I'm guessing is the English remake, not the
Spike Lee one. No.
Yeah, it's probably never mind. Yeah.
That movie traumatized me.
Yeah.
Yes, and we all know why. Anyway.
Yep.
Amazon MGM Jennifer Salk team to adapt hot book romantic hero. Cool.
So Jennifer Salk used to be the head of Amazon MGM, and then she kind of like got unceremoniously fired, and then she got a producer deal. So this is the first time that her Sullivan Street Productions banner actually got a project picked up by Amazon MGM. Now she's got a producing deal with the company, which is it's kind of like similar to how Catherine O'Hara's character, like she used to be the president of the studio in the studio show, and then she gets fired, and then Seth Rogen gets the job, his character, but she gets a producing deal. This happens in Hollywood all the time. It's very much, this is exactly what Jennifer Salk went through, but now she's getting to produce this, like kind of like Amy Pascal. She went through a similar thing with Sony. So anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, Nicole Richie, Raven Simone, and more join RuPaul in Stop That Train action comedy. Maybe it'll be better than Bullet Train. One can only hope.
I doubt it. Bullet Train is amazing. What?
Bullet Train is amazing, dude. Come on. By the way, this is great. Good. Go RuPaul. Go RuPaul. I love Raven. Sarah Michelle Gellar. Of course, she's not busy with Buffy anymore. So, yeah. Nicole Richie, cool. Let's do it. I send this to Fiona because she's a big fan of Drag Race. So, anything with RuPaul, I mean, yeah, let's go. Action comedy, I'm sure it'd be great. Yeah.
Apparently, Avengers Doomsday reshoots will add major character scenes. Secret Wars focus on new heroes. Obviously, they gotta, next generation this thing. Just like, hey, old heroes, new heroes until we reboot it, and then, we'll get the old heroes back, but with new actors. So,
Yeah, it seems like similar to what they did with Doomsday. Well, sorry, Endgame and Infinity War, where they focused on two different sets of character. I mean, ultimately they're all sort of crossing over, but yeah, because they're going to be building towards. Well, I think the idea is that Secret Wars is going to feature more multiversal variants. If you go off the, these scoopers, Daniel Rickman, cryptic quality 4K, and then the idea would be potentially that Doom uses Scarlet Witch's powers to to create Battle World. So anyway, but these are some things that we've already kind of known about. So it seems like a lot of the heroes in Doomsday will not be the leads of Secret Wars, but they'll probably show up in the final fight like they did in Endgame. So Russo Brothers have done this before, and it looks like they've got a similar plan for these two upcoming movies. And that's the TLDR of it. So yeah.
Then next up, Grey's Anatomy. This fucking show's still kicking. Kevin McKidd and Kim Raver to exit series after season 22 finale. Le gasp.
I mean, they've been on this show for like more than a decade. So these are two people that if you are a fan of the show, you've been watching for like a decade and a half. I think Kim Raver came in a season before Kevin McKidd, but then they've been on there since like the early 2000s, or the mid 2000s. It's been a while. But anyway, now they won't be. So
NFL season to kick off on a Wednesday for the first time since 2012 as Seattle Seahawks begin to. Okay, who cares? All right.
Can we have one day of fucking week already with football? I'm so stopping.
Well, so this is the first time since like 2012, and which only the second time in 1948 that they'll have the season kickoff on a Wednesday.
Oh,
it's gonna be on Peacock, and then, but like usually it kicks off on a Thursday. So they didn't announce who Seattle will be playing yet, but that we'll figure out, I'm sure, when the schedule gets announced. So anyway, there you go.
Don't care. Doctor Who boss Russell T Davies says online hate can be very, very dangerously assumed as the fan voice. It's all getting soured. I mean, yeah, I can kind of see what he's saying, but like, I don't know. He's kind of shit on fans in the past, so I don't know how, true he is.
I think the point he was trying to make was that people sometimes mistake, again, the online fandom, like from sites like X, where you get a loud minority and people think like that's what everybody online thinks about something, which again, that we have talked about many a times, like, fandom, it's much more diversified than that.
No, technically Chris Chibnall killed Doctor Who, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. So you can't let a vocal minority of fans represent, the consensus on something, which I think Russell D. Davies was talking about, which makes sense. I mean, I think there's a lot of people who loved his version of Doctor Who, and I'm sure there's a lot who didn't.
I still need to watch Shooting Out with
true about a lot
season. It's on the back burner. I have so much shit to watch, but I liked his first season. I thought it was good, so that's just me. But next up, Masters of the Universe promo art reveals first proper look at Miranda Baccarin as the Sorceress. So
everybody looks so terrible. I'm so excited for this movie.
Is that the Adam? I thought that was Brendan Routh's Adam on the right.
Shit. They all look so shit. I can't wait. I cannot wait. This is absolute trash. This is the height of trash. I'm so
This looks
excited.
like an Asylum movie, and that's not a compliment.
I'm so excited. This is such shit.
Dude, am I wrong? Like that guy with like the silver helmet and stuff looks like an X-Men character from like the
He looks like Juggernaut.
He looks like
Juggernaut. He looks like Juggernaut, and then you got the Arrowverse Adam on the top right there, the +2 card.
Or Ant-Man.
And then you got Galadriel from Temu with Miranda Baccarin.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
In terms of ridiculously stupid-looking movies, I'm more excited for Street Fighter, but that's just me.
Yes. Also,
compared to all of these, I feel like He-Man actually looks a lot more accurate now than in hindsight to the cartoon. Nicholas Galtazine, but anyway, yeah, let's go. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Then Sucker Punch 15 years ago was released a day ago.
Okay.
Yay! A movie so bad that even Snyder cultists can't defend how bad it is.
Well, Zack Snyder is, just looking back at his cinematography these days, or filmography these days.
Or he's just trying to get more people to follow his Instagram because Half Naked.
Oh no, absolutely.
Probably get that.
He points out to my 700,000 followers on Instagram. Like I think he did that like a couple of weeks ago in one of his posts. Yeah.
Hell yeah. But next up, finally, Ray Fiennes talking about Nia DaCosta's direction on Bone Temple versus Danny Boyle's on the first year's film, so
Dude, I'm just impressed this shit was mostly done practical. That looks crazy. I know like how it is done, but it still looks very visually impressive.
yeah.
Like, wow.
Based.
This looks great. This is I'm like, that's a visual spectacle on the set and in the movies. So
whoever came
I
up
know
with
you love
that,
the movie.
like they went to a luau in Hawaii and was like, you know what? That's cool. Let me learn how to do that. Hung out with some fire eaters and was like, yo, I can put this in. Damn in. Yeah.
Totally, it would fit right into
it's
this
like
vibe
it's
that
like
we got going on.
It's like, you know what? It's funny. You would think that this is like an Americanized version of that, but it's like, no, it's the British version, baby. Let's go.
Cool. Well, I think that's all the quickest we got. So, yeah, let us know in the comments down below. What do you guys think about all the news that we went through today? There was certainly a lot of it. We spend way too much time on it, but there was a lot to talk about. So, of course, hit the like button while you're at it. Hit the notification bell if you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed like MTG wasn't until recently, please do subscribe. We do appreciate it. We're here 5 days a week. But of course, we're not done yet, John. There is a lot more show yet to come. We got DCU Daily coming up. So let's get blessed up in here and let's talk about some DC.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go. Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine. I prefer Jared Leto. Hunka hunka.
Welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily. DCU Daily proper, we got to talk about, well, Superman Spider-Man #1 is out now. We also have some What Did the Snyder Say? And then, of course, we got a lot of, well, not really a lot of, but we do have some of What Did the Gunn Say? So we'll get into all that and so much more. Of course, joining me today, I've got John. How are you doing? What are you excited to talk about on DCU Daily?
I'm excited to talk about some comic stuff because we got some cool comic stuff to be talking about. Not just, absolute. We do have other stuff to be talking about. So, hell yeah. I'm excited.
Hell yeah. Liz, what are you excited to talk about?
Not a whole lot. Superman, Spider-Man, that's cool. Great collab. Looking forward to that. But give a hot dog about the rest of the stuff we're talking about.
Let's talk about lanterns. No, I don't think there's much of that today. But anyway, let's get into the quick hits. We kind of bunched it all into the quick hits because I don't know what else to put it under. So, John, True Justice and a Great Responsibility. Superman, Spider-Man #1 is out now. Did you get a copy?
I get my comics through other means. So no.
Got it.
I go look for it. So yeah.
Look nice. Well, I mean, it's out. We have been shilling for this for the last couple of months now, so I think we'll be talking about it for some time to come. There's obviously going to be more, issues of this, hopefully, than just #1, but it's out there now. You guys can get a hold of it at your local comic book store, or maybe if you subscribe to something like a Comixology. But John, we have some interesting crossovers happening that are not just Superman meeting Spider-Man in this. Doc Ock just met Brainiac? Is that how does this work exactly? That's interesting. Mark Wade, Jorge Jimenez. Did you read into this? This looks
it looks
creepy.
like Doc Ock found or did something with Brainiac and is now giving him his body, which is interesting. So yeah, that
is interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have thought to put those two together, but it makes sense. Two evil geniuses coming together. And then of course we also are getting a Jimmy Olsen crossover with Carnage of all characters. John, Jimmy Olsen meets up with Carnage. What the blue hell could that lead to? Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber basically writing the backup story for this comic. What did you make of this one?
Nice. That's pretty badass. Like, and because it's just like with Jimmy Olsen, what absurd thing can he deal with? And it's just like, yeah, Carnage makes sense.
I really hope they have Sarah Sampaio's Miss Tessmacher in that Jimmy Olsen TV show, by the way, because that dynamic was.
She's not going to cost a lot.
You guys a link. Speaking of Miss Tessmacher, I sent you guys a link.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Oh yes, okay. Yeah, we. I mean, Liz, do you have anything to regarding Valerie Perrine passing away at 82? Oscar-nominated actress, of course, played the original Miss Tessmacher.
Miss Tessmacher. Yeah, no, I just saw the article today, so no, God bless. 82, it's still very young, It's a real shame. A lot of people are going too soon.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. I think that's all the parrots, ducks, and pelicans of the DCU that we got.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about what did Snyder say, John? Why don't you walk us through
that? Talking about his Frankenstein's monster of a movie, a fascinating disaster, the car crash you can't help but look at. 10 years ago today, well, yesterday, BVS came out and shocked the world, and not in a good way.
The best thing about that film was the movie poster.
I still love the trailers. I enjoyed the movie. I think Warner Brothers kept on handicapping themselves in every which way imaginable. Cutting out the 30 minutes that was clearly done really late in the process really hampered the film. I mean, they've learned their lesson under new leadership because they put out a 3.5 hour long The Batman. So, I mean, why they couldn't put this out with the entire rest of the 30 minutes, I think it would have made the movie at least a little more easy to understand because of how complicated the plot was. It would have made it longer, yes, but I'm just saying, like, we've seen longer Avengers movies and Batman movies since, so...
Those are good.
I thought this was still good. Again, the Martha moment, still kind of hard to reconcile, but anyway, let's keep going, because Zack Snyder was kind of building up to the anniversary, which today, for another...
This looks like a man that has not
March
slept in a
25th. Yeah, he's got a very heavy 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock shadow going there. This is, of course, the scene of the Martha moment fight. You know, Martha, you must save Martha. Why did you say that name? It's his mother's name. It's like, Martha will not die tonight. Hey, did you guys get the meme? There's a meme I saw the other day. Didn't like Ben Affleck do a movie with Diane Lane around the time BVS came out?
No, he did. What happened was he did one years before where he played George Reeves in a biopic, and he was, doing the with Diane Lane. So people made memes about that.
Oh, dude, I was laughing so hard at that. I need to find that on my phone somewhere. It was. Because don't worry, Martha will not die tonight. And then of course in the movie he's
don't
like,
worry, she will scream though, just not in the way you think.
That was I just laughed so hard at that because I was like, it was very awkward. He's like, I'm a friend of your son's. He's like, yeah, I got that, like, the cape. I'm like, okay, yes, got it. So Lord and Miller want to do a Flash movie. Yes, Anthony, we did actually talk about that the other day. Lord and Miller still are infatuated with their idea for the Flash movie. I'd love to see it. I think James Gunn, give him a call. Bring him back over to DC. This time for reals. But hey, you know what? The one thing I did want to point out, regardless of whether you like the movies or not, the DC trailers were always top notch. When this trailer came out, this wasn't even the Comic-Con trailer. The Comic-Con trailer was pretty epic. The whole, do you bleed? You will. And then this was also pretty gosh darn amazing. The one thing I like to say, forget the deconstructionist argument, forget the whole this movie went too dark and all that. I'm like, if you look at it from the perspective of they were trying to make a movie that Superman existed in our world, we are very politically charged in civilization. So I think some of that has aged rather rather well, not for the good reasons, like what happens in this movie, but also at the same time, I'll give them props regardless of what they got right or wrong, that it couldn't have looked any more different from what Marvel was doing at the time. So at least it gave us something different to watch, good or bad. Grandma's peach tea or not. BVS, Batman v Superman, is 10 years old, March 25th. So it turns 10 today, John. Actually, you know what? Speaking of the movie itself, do you guys have any good memories from it? Because I feel like Alfred was great. Like, if you go to the next link, John, we do have, of course, Jeremy Irons Alfred. We have the iconic scene where he's like, nobody cares about Clark Kent taking on the Batman. Gotham, crime, Gotham, water, wet. It's so iconic. It's not.
Sure, I guess. But I remember liking the movie when it first came out, and then I loved the Ultimate Edition, and then rewatching. I was gonna try and rewatch the entire DCEU before Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom came out. So I just ended up watching Man of Steel, BVS, and Suicide Squad, and BVS. Not a great movie, but it's a fascinating disaster. Like, if someone put a gun to my head and like gave me the choice, you have to watch either Man of Steel or BVS, I'd choose BVS because it's like, it's not great, but like I'd rather watch this car crash Frankenstein's monster of a movie than the nothing burger of Man of Steel. So
I enjoyed both, but I mean, come on, like Wonder Woman comes out, he's like, oh shit, and then you're like, wow, 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 like that. Come on, like that's still iconic. So like, I would love that.
That is the only part of the film that I enjoyed. You know, and they were like, "Is she with you?" Yeah, I
thought she was with you. It's like, monsters don't. Devil, was it the devil doesn't come from beneath us, it comes from the sky.
It comes from
the red
above.
Capes are up above. The red capes are coming. The red capes. I can't.
I
even
will
do the
say
voice.
one of the few things I will defend about the movie
The
was
Batman
Jesse
Warehouse.
Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I don't think he's as bad as everyone says he is.
No, I agree with you. Dude, it was timely then. It's more timely today. Like the whole egocentric, maniacal CEO of a tech corporation. There's plenty of those running around these days. I also I think, again, we did this best openings to comic book movie of all time. I still think that movie, the way it starts out, one of the best ever in the comic book genre. The Batman warehouse fight scene is still probably the most comic accurate Batman fight scene ever, which is exactly what Zack Snyder intended to do. And I would love to see him make an actual Batman movie. We're never gonna probably see it, or unless he gets his wish to do a Dark Knight Returns. But I thought Ben Affleck's Batman was great. So yeah,
I like Affleck. Yeah.
Yep. Clark Kent looks really buff. Also, Superman buff. Wonder if he could be Superman. Okay, Caleb. Do you bleed? You will.
But yeah, I enjoyed some certain aspects of this, but I will say Jesse Eisenberg did a fine job. Like,
I do think giving away Doomsday in the trailer was a big mistake. I think that's like Warner Brothers marketing has come a long way from doing that in the final trailer for Batman v Superman.
I will say,
doing what they did with the marketing for
very
F1.
Cool, but I will say Ben Affleck's looks like he's a toddler that just shit in his pants.
Yeah,
he
looks
so
very sulky.
Dad, like, Daddy, I made a poopy, like, and it just it looks mad awkward.
Just the setup with like those doors look like flags to me. They don't read as doors initially. So that whole shot is there's something off.
I mean, it's almost built for Superman to just like fly them off, which obviously was a big part of the movie with that confrontation. Oh yeah, it also looks like a parademon almost, parademon wings, which maybe that was on purpose. Believe in the Bulge though, like he's definitely got a hard on down there.
I don't think he has a hard on, but okay.
I mean, it looks pretty flat, Dan, but all right. If that's what you're into.
I was trying to go somewhere with that, but I can't come up with the words. It's been a long show, so
he's just distracted by Ben Affleck's sexiness, I guess. I don't know.
I wouldn't be the only one. I was shocked that Superman. Yeah, nobody was. I mean, if you knew the comics, it was. I think I was more shocked they didn't show Superman in the marketing for Justice League until the movie came out, flopped on opening weekend, and they were like, "Oh shit, we should have put Superman in the trailers," because everybody knew he was going to be in the movie. But yeah, that opening sequence was amazing. I think that there's, like you said, it's a wonderful car wreck or whatever. I still have a higher opinion of it, but anyway, he wasn't wearing leather. It's clearly like some other composite material. And anyway. I'm not gonna keep. I'm not gonna keep digging that hole for myself. Let's move on to what did Gunn say. There's not much, but we got something. He posted about the Stag Industries. Just the photo of the plaque.
Stuff with Stag Industries and Simon Stagg. So
yeah. Do you mind reading this? Can you read like what it says on the plaque? Because this is interesting.
Okay, gotta come up close and personal. Here we go.
Also, by the way, it says "Be bold and brave." I'm like, is that a Batman reference?
Anyway,
the brave and the bold.
So,
you can't read it, John. I can. So
it says, under the visionary leadership of Simon Stagg, the original Delaware-based shipping business has emerged as a significant international contributor toward human advancement. Its many achievements include award-winning breakthroughs in the fields of artificial intelligence, and virtual reality and energy. Stagg Industries' relentless pursuit of industrial and high-tech progress expresses the original vision for the company. Be bold and brave. Founded in 1965. I'm willing to bet that's when Simon Stagg appeared in the comics, because that's a very James Gunn thing to do.
James Gunn's thing to do, yeah. I mean, the Stagg Industries is where Superman kind of walks into that building when the social media storm happens. I know, right? Brave and the Bold. It's a Batman hint, everybody. Be brave and be bold.
And although this person does probably hint that Simon and Sapphire Stagg both had their first appearance in Brave and the Bold, the comic book, as part of Metamorpho's origin story. So
that okay, got it. But yeah, enhance. So wait, we don't know anything about Simon Stagg. Well, Simon Stagg, is it?
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen that character. We just got Stagg in the building they walk into, and Lantern. Well, Guy Gardner kind of like forms a little shield around so he can talk to like make your move, Big Blue. That whole sequence. But we don't really see anybody who worked for Stagg, right? Am I right?
There was
Am I wrong
more
about
green
that?
in that one scene than there was the entirety of the Lantern show.
He's brave. He's bold. He's man. Okay, thank you, Caleb. But do you think we should do a Simon Stagg fan cast Friday? Because that would be an interesting one. They haven't cast one yet. I mean, what's the context
I don't really know enough about Simon Stagg to care or to do the character properly.
Well, because like going into the movie, we knew Metamorpho was in the film, so we were wondering how the Stagg Industries were going to figure into this with the whole corporations run the world, and they're more powerful than governments, which is very true in our world as well. And yet, like, Metamorpho was never quite connected to Stagg Industries in the movie at all. We just saw him in like the pocket dimension prison that Lex Luthor had. So I don't know. Like, I feel like that would be a good Fancast Friday idea, actually. So. Speaking of which, John, I think we're going to wrap up today's show by looking ahead to the Fancast Friday poll that we got up. So let's take a look at that real quick. John, do you have the latest updated numbers here?
Yes.
All right. So as of current voting, which, by the way, it is now past midnight on the East Coast, going into Thursday. We will have a DCU Daily on Thursday. And then Friday, right after DCU Daily, we got Fancast Friday. You guys can vote for Voldemort, which hasn't been cast yet in the Harry Potter series. Casey Bloys was asked about it. He's like, I literally don't know. Don't pay attention to any casting rumors out there. I don't even know who we're going to cast. So they don't have a Voldemort cast yet. And I mean, I don't think they're going to need one for a while.
Yeah.
So DC The Flash director, that's another one that I think we can probably look into. That's currently in second. Lord and Miller's next movie, that we could come up with like all the ideas for all the franchises they could take on next. And then 27 Oscar host, which is still somehow winning. I don't get it. Conan's gonna come back. Why do we need to make that a Fancast Friday topic? But somehow it's winning. So go figure.
Somehow Conan returned.
Guess which one I voted for.
Yeah, of course you did. Yep. The number just went up. That's great. 2027 Oscars host. I guess that's what we'll be doing on Friday.
I already have my list set, so we're good.
Killian Murphy. Well, I'm sure if we do a Fancast Friday, we'll have to have multiple people in there. So, M Night tier list would be a good idea. Actually, we should probably put that on there somewhere because I'm sure everything in there would be goated for Caleb because he loves M Night. So, Caleb was
he just
trolling
likes
hard.
Unbreakable. The rest can fuck off. So.
Yeah,
I like M Night.
Caleb was trolling real hard about the Christopher Nolan tier list. Like he wasn't. It wasn't just like getting on minor. I think Caleb was getting on the wrong side of a lot of folks in the chat, which is fine. It's all fun and games.
We should do a Chris Columbus tier list.
Ooh. John, you better write these ideas down because I'm gonna forget.
All right, hang on. Let me go to
Let's make sure I can be a part of that one.
Chris Columbus. Oh, talk about Harry Potter, Home Alone.
Like literally everything is S and A tier except Pixels. That's D tier, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Somebody's got to be in D tier, so why not?
We didn't have anything in C or D tier for Nolan.
But they also, I don't know, Sir Patrick Stewart was the poop emoji, so at the same time...
Well, that was the emoji movie. Pixels was different. That was the Adam Sandler movie with the video game character.
Oh, right, yeah.
That was not the... What? Are you talking about, wait, Pixels and the emoji movie? Or what? Those are two different things.
Yeah,
those are two
you're
different
right.
Things.
My bad.
Yeah, Pixels is S tier. Okay, Caleb.
Interesting.
Robert Zemeckis, that's a good idea. Tier list. We gotta put up the poll on Friday, so those are some all great ideas.
Ooh, like Danny Elfman? His
soundtrack.
That man has done way too many. You would have to like limit it to like 10, because like that dude has made
maybe
way
like
too
one
many.
from like
John
two
Hughes.
from each decade or something.
John Hughes tier list would be nice.
Oh, hell yes. I'm there for that one.
I think Edgar Wright has been an option. Nobody picked him. And Tim Burton was also an option at one point in the poll. So maybe you can bring them back. They didn't really win. Best score. We can't just do best scores. We have to like narrow it down because top 10. Because it's then you know like it's yeah.
No, instead of Danny Elfman scores, we should do top 10 Oingo Boingo songs.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I haven't seen enough Terry Gilliam movies to warrant that. I think I've seen maybe one. I think I saw Monty Python, and that's about it. I haven't seen enough Terry Gilliam to warrant that. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate Liz for coming back and dealing with our bullshittery. So that's nice.
Well, you know.
But make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, so you know we get all the views and all the things.
Yeah, and I can't promise you guys are going to get me next week. If not, I'll see you in May. So.
Wow! Oh yeah, you're going to France. Damn. Did you ever reach out to Manos?
How long are you spending time in France? Jesus.
I'll be in France for 3 weeks.
Jesus Christ, that's 3 weeks too long. Anyway.
Yes.
But
and I don't know how to reach Manos. Manos, if you're watching, somehow get in touch with me, babe. I'm going to Disney Paris. I'd love to see you.
Go to the Guggenheim while you're there.
Make sure to click the notification bell so you know when we go live, and yeah, do all the things. Stay #blessed. Fight for justice.
Glad to see y'all. Thanks for show. Jazz hands. Amaze.
Jazz hands. Amaze. And remember, tip your waitress.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go. Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you really I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka.
And remember, fuck Tom King, fuck David Ellison, and fuck Jeff Snyder.
And J.K. Rowling.